Ho, 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 ho. Sorry, I'm trying to get the title ready to go. There it is. Finally! Jesus Christ, that was one hell of a title. Drama, drama, drama. We need a starter? What do you mean? A league starter? Well, I can tell you, in the new Path of Exile upcoming league... No, are you talking about like an intro into what the fuck is going on? Well, I can start with this. You should be watching my fucking Twitch stream, so you should already know what the hell is going on, okay? And if you don't know what the hell is going on, then follow my damn Twitch stream. What the fuck is wrong with you? I think it's President Sunday, not Sunday. Did I spell it like that? Oh, it did autocorrect. Sunday, there we go. Thank you. Okay.
Of the Jews by Nazi Germany was carried out between 1941 and 1945. First of all, we're using the word genocide of the Jews here, okay? Genocide and Holocaust are slightly different terms, and some people use them synonymously. Some people say that they're a bit different because they describe different periods, but we'll get into that, okay? First, let's look at how this question came up. When I asked Polly if she could give me examples of Republicans who want to kill trans people, she argued that this was an unfair question. After all, why would they be open about their intent? I responded by offering her some leeway and explained that intent can be inferred. I used the example of how Hitler didn't publicly express a desire to kill Jewish people until the war, but that the intent could have been inferred from as early as 1919. For some reason, Polly decided to move off the topic of intent and asked me when I thought the genocide of the Jews began. I was hesitant over this question because I know the answer is more nuanced than she would be willing to admit. I said 1941 because that seemed like the clearest cutoff point. Okay. Wait,
Yeah.
can you tell me which you've seen this quote before, so we'll just go into... What did I just say? Wait, what did I just say?
Okay, so what I think you said is that Hitler had genocidal intent before. Wait, when would you say the genocide of the Jews actually happened or started?
No, wait, that's not the question. Is whether or not the intent, when the intent showed, right? So again, trying to keep her on topic. But, okay. And
well, now I'm interested in your answer to my question.
well, the signs of the intent were there from like 1919 when Hitler wrote that thing about
Yeah,
removal.
yeah, but when would you say according to you?
Are you trying to maybe take note of how confident Polly sounds here, and how, you know, despite what other people were saying, how, you know, maybe not so good faith. Wait, are you trying to get me into a gotcha to say when the genocide started?
No, well, I want to know your answer. It's
okay, so if I say
gotcha.
anything later than... No, you are. Don't lie to me. If I say anything, if I say anything later than 1933 when the Nazis got elected, you've got a dunk, right? That's the kind of level we're operating at right now?
Are you unwilling to answer the question?
No, I'm not willing. I think the genocide started in 1941. Final solution implemented and ordered in 1941.
Okay, so...
Okay. Demon Mama believes this is an idiotic position.
I would be surprised if it is a commonly accepted point of view that the German genocide of the Jews didn't start until 1941. That seems
He reiterated that twice. It's an idiotic position.
Literally impossible to me.
Okay. I don't know how many references I would need to bring up until she admits she was wrong about this, but here are a few.
I know what's going on. I was asking if you needed a video while waiting for viewers to come in here, so I posted a link with to the above question. Oh, can you even get 900? A 900? Oh, I haven't tried yet, but maybe.
This kind of suggests, from the 10 stages of genocide, he says this in the essay as well, suggesting that the genocide is being planned at stage 7. The genocide they refer to is the final solution. Genocidal massacres begin, so we go from final solution being planned to beginning at 8. Bearing in mind, remember the definition under international law was genocide is killing people. The state organized killing people. Okay, let's go to this next one from the Anne Frank House. The decision to resort to genocide. Historians disagree about the moment when Hitler decided that all European Jews should be killed. A signed order does not exist. However, based on some other sources and events, there's a strong likelihood that the decision was made somewhere in the second half of 1941. You can go to Wikipedia, I guess, 1941 to 45, genocide of the European Jews. This is from the Wiener Holocaust Library. This is like, I think they're either one of or the oldest Holocaust library in the world. In 1941, the Nazis' persecution of the Jews became a genocide. See, persecution and genocide are separated because they were different events. In just under 4 years, millions of people were deliberately murdered at the hands of the Nazis and their collaborators. This mass murder became known as the Holocaust. This is from a book called Teaching the Holocaust, the Holocaust Memorial Day Trust, the government-funded charity between 41 and 45. I'll go a bit quicker. This is an article from JSTOR. Genocide was the original plan by Yehuda Bauer, very prominent Holocaust historian. You can see here, when they talk about the plan, they're talking about the final solution because the final solution was the genocide. Okay, we'll read that article a bit more later. Holocaust Encyclopedia. So this is where people are maybe getting a bit confused. If someone Googles the Holocaust, you'll get different answers because some people use the Holocaust synonymous
Without
with
subdividing the beat game, it's nearly impossible to.
Period of physical state violence against Jews, which was Kristallnacht onwards, and others will say it was just the entire process of persecution to violence to genocide, which is 33 to 45. Anyway, why did I link this one? The final solution was the organized and systemic mass murder of European Jews. The Nazi German regime implemented this genocide between 41 and 45. What we got here? This is a Google book. Euthanasia to the final solution, the origins of Nazi genocide. So when they say euthanasia here, they're referring to Action T4, which was when Hitler ordered, that's his order there, the killing of 1/3 disabled and mentally ill people. September 39. That was, so the question was genocide of the Jews. There is a bit of a gray area with, no, I'll get to that later, never mind. But yeah, final solution and the euthanasia, those are the two genocides. One against disabled and mentally ill people, the other against Jews. Okay. What we got here says, again, just the contention about what people refer to with the Holocaust. The term Holocaust is most commonly used to refer to the genocide in which approximately 6 million Jews were systematically executed in concentration camps like Dachau, Auschwitz, and Bergen-Belsen. Some of these camps were opened earlier than 41, but they were opened as concentration camps. They were later, the death camp facilities were usually added on, and that was from 41 afterwards. Yeah, concentration camp and death camp is not the same thing, okay? This is from Richard J. Evans. He was actually the historian who testified against
I don't think this matters to us.
pervert culture for being gender neutral. This is probably quite a good example of being.
I don't think that matters to us at all. I don't think that matters at all.
Guess yourself afterwards.
To us,
but without even
not
bothering
to
to check
our
whether or not there was any
argumentation.
merit in what I was saying, Demon Mama spends the rest of the stream getting increasingly excited and attempts to drop a series of bizarre statements and counter.
People advocating for violent
Who makes the
action.
point that the final solution was not the start.
Wait, hold on a second. This is really funny. Somebody in Poly People's chat says the final solution was not the start of the genocide. That's such an excellent point.
The person she's quoting in chat doesn't even say that. You can see him here. He just says final solution was not the start. She added in of the genocide because she's like, because she's seeing what she wants to say.
Yeah, but that's you can infer it. You can infer it though.
The Nazis literally called it the final solution, implying they had tried other solutions before. Oh God. Oh, liberals are so lost.
The faces get a little bit more animated near the end of this. I feel like she's really close to getting it there. Like the final solution was the genocide, and the other solutions were, you would call them ethnic cleansing. That's what they wanted to move them out. Like, those are different things. If you want a justification for why they should be seen as different things, the way you would pursue recourse for ethnic cleansing is probably different from genocide.
Super Saiyan Solid Snake in chat says, Ahrelevant, you considering getting Dwarf Fortress? I've been waiting for the Steam version to try it. What do you think I'm playing? What do you think is at the top left of your screen right now? What do you think is transpiring at the top left corner of the screen? If you had to guess there, bucko, what's going on? What happened? I probably need a Trade Depot soon. Literally didn't know that was you? What did you think? I was watching a video of Dwarf Fortress while I was watching a video of Lonerbox's Manifesto? Homie! I know I'm a React Andy, but god damn, have some faith in me. Jesus Christ. Okay.
Like if ethnic cleansing happens, you would advocate for like right of return or refugee rights or something like that. Obviously with genocide, it's a bit different. Okay. Yeah, there's a whole article about this. The one I brought up from Yehuda Bauer, about how genocide wasn't the Nazis'
Wait,
original
where's the
plan.
trade
original plan
zone?
Was emigration or forced emigration. And he actually goes through this to talk about how although there's a bit of a gray area, when the Nazis invaded Poland, they carried out massacres that were targeted towards Polish intellectuals and thought leaders and political opponents of the Nazis. A disproportionate amount of those deaths were Jews. So I don't know if like Tannenberg has been called like a genocide of the Jews. It probably has. I think I've heard it like once or twice. Can't really remember. But Nazi policy, and this whole paper goes through that, is up until 1940 or early 41 was still emigration. So their official policy up until 1940, there were two plans. One was Nisko Madagascar, where they wanted to send them to Madagascar. The other one was
hey, Super Saiyan Solid Snake. Thanks for becoming a member.
To deport their Jewish prisoners over to
the
Allied States. The idea was that they thought if a bunch of Jewish refugees turned up in the UK or the US or whatever, that would get the British to sympathize with the Nazi cause if they had a bunch of Jewish refugees around. But yeah, so this paper is really, really interesting. Even at the end, and also like in 1940 as well, there was like a memorandum from Himmler where he openly rejected mass killing. And by 1940, even Heydrich was still calling it the territorial final solution. It was in 41, just around the time of the invasion of the USSR. That was when it changed. If you're going to bring up the Einsatzgruppen, yeah, they targeted Jews. They were mobilized against Jews in 1941 in the summer. Yeah. Here, the last alternative was the final solution, which took form in 41 with the adoption of the Einsatzgruppen plan for the mass murder of Jews in Russia. Yeah. So, I think that covers everything. Near the end of this paper, there's a really, really interesting part, like really spicy as well, where Yehuda Bauer actually suggests that the final solution wasn't even inevitable by 39 or 40. He actually argues that one of the reasons it happened was because other countries in Europe were just unwilling to take Jewish refugees. He actually blames anti-Semitism across all of Europe for the reason that the Nazis had that many prisoners that they decided to kill them instead of trying to move them out, which is a pretty bold take. But yeah, this guy's like a high up historian on Holocaust. He's like really well known. The reason I'm being so thorough on this, by the way, is just because I've never really tried to present myself as like an exceptionally intelligent person. Like I'm not. What I think I'm maybe good at is that I put a lot of work and a lot of effort into the takes that I come out with. Like I second guess myself like constantly. I'm always like trying to make sure I've got multiple sources or double checking things and every time I say something I think is not true.
I say stupid shit all the time.
If I'm wrong, like I do try really hard to get things right because but.
Wow, one person is really happy. Oh no, I got one person who's really mad now.
The fact that whole thing just gets kind of like shat on in the eyes of a few audience members, or like 4,000 or 5,000 audience members, just because this charlatan hack fuck wanted to get
charlatan.
Like, it's really fucking irritating, but.
We're getting those shits.
She agrees with another chatter who accuses me of using the same logic as Chomsky and Tankies.
Hippie Punk says this is the same logic that Chomsky uses to say that Srebrenica wasn't a genocide, and what Tankies used to blow off Xinjiang. This is not a road to go down. I agree.
Srebrenica. Chomsky said Srebrenica wasn't a genocide because they only killed men. Like that's I mean, he just completely ignored the fact that actually in most genocides the victims are mostly men because the women are raped. He just ignored it. Like,
Jesus
he also said that the concentration camps in Bosnia that had torture chambers in them were actually refugee camps. When Tankies talk about Xinjiang, they'll just say all the information they don't like that proves genocide is Western, or they'll try to discredit one of the people spokesmen for the UN because it's like
Diamond Fair.
Because it was what was it? Fuck, because he was a Christian or something. Like, really? That's what I'm doing? Okay, fuck. Even as I tried to qualify the point that before 1941, the genocide was set in motion, the conditions were laid for it, or that they were on the precipice, both Polly and Demon Mama completely ignore this, and Demon Mama decides to accuse me of downplaying and genocide denial.
Here he is.
I mean,
liberals are so lost.
There was already like, well, I guess there wasn't there was already laws being passed trying to eliminate.
You would say that it was set in motion, that the conditions were laid for it. They were. There was law.
No, but like there were already Jews dying.
If this was a conversation only about the Holocaust, all of this would be considered genocide denial because it is, because it's downplaying the very real threat. We only have this.
When you dyeing your hair blue, give me $5,000.
I mean,
the real threat of what? Threat of genocide? Fuck. I guess that's probably quite a lot of historians and Holocaust libraries that probably need to get held up for genocide denial, but okay. She agrees with another chatter who says my opinion on when a genocide starts, and apparently also that of every source I've posted above, is similar to what the Nazis do with Holocaust denial.
Killjoy 40K says what Lonerbox is doing is similar to what Nazis do with Holocaust denial. I don't think he's doing it deliberately, but he's made a goalpost that can't be met except in hindsight, meaning nothing is a genocide until after it's already too late. Yeah.
She even says there, nothing is a genocide until it's deemed one, but she changes that into it's already too late. In this debate, I mentioned examples of preventing genocide. This hindsight argument is so weird. Like, does she just think that I'm of the persuasion that states should just put their feet up and
make the depot
and stay at brunch until the genocide starts? I don't understand it. Like,
make it. There it is.
The point she makes about hindsight is also strange, since I mentioned at least twice
You
that
don't
Allied
have a
intervention was
broker.
justified before the invasion of Poland. And I already mentioned that genocidal intent could have been inferred before the Nazis took power. Is she trying to imply that I'm pro-appeasement? That I don't believe in states taking measures to prevent genocides before they happen? The answer to that is no. I think it's just like a very hollow critique with no thought behind it. She seems pretty excited to learn about the Dachau concentration camp, which opened in 1933.
Or my brokers.
Wouldn't it be funny? Wouldn't it be funny if there was something I had in my back pocket?
My back
Anybody
pocket?
want to guess when the first
pockets?
concentration camp for Jewish people, communists, and other dissidents opened? Anybody want to guess? Can we get a guess?
22nd
22nd of March, 1933. But guess what?
Damn.
According to Lonerbox, the genocide didn't start until 1941. What a moron!
Wait, you just Googled that.
Dachau.
Wait, what?
I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. I apologize. I've literally never heard that word said out loud, I don't think, or at least I haven't in my... Wouldn't...
So again, I know it's difficult to hear, but like genocide and concentration camps for political prisoners, I think Dachau was, they're not the same. It's not the same thing. Like, if you want to know why, again, you can just think about it. Like, if you had two criminals in front of you, or two bad guys, so let's say one of them is an overseer from the Japanese internment camps in America, and the other one is like Rudolf Hess, the guy in charge of Auschwitz-Birkenau. I don't think he would convict those two guys of the same crime. Like, one would be guilty of genocide, the other would be guilty of like human rights abuses. You know. This is despite me saying earlier in the debate that some kind of intervention was justified as soon as the first camp opened. Once again, Demon Mama isn't interested in this point. This is what I do think she learned about Dachau like in the middle of the stream, because when I say when the first camp opened, that was a point to justify intervention. She looks kind of shocked, like as if to suggest that's too late. I don't know.
All right, let's continue.
After it's over, but that's not what we need.
Okay, first of all, when camps were opening, yeah, there was plenty of evidence to say that we're building up to a genocide and the urgency was there. Like again, I just so you know, for my take on Germany,
camps?
I think the Allies should. I don't know what she's saying there, but it sounds like she's saying when they built camps as if that's like too late. They've intervened when the first camp opened. I don't know if maybe the Allies should have intervened when Germany was still a democracy. The first camp opened before the annexation. So no,
Yeah,
actually, I'm very for intervening as quickly as possible when that happens. I think that every government. Why the face? What the fuck? In the Allied states, it's like she just does them when she remembers to. Too slow. Okay. So no, I don't know why you think just because I'm contesting you on terminology means you think I'm less urgent about stopping the problem. I don't know why. Oh, there's another one. All right.
I like making faces.
Yeah. This is the climax of the fucking circus show. She decides to blow me out with possibly the strangest dunk.
Gotcha!
Okay, hold on. I just want to blow him out again one more time.
Do it.
Just so we're clear, the UN Convention on Genocide was not even put into law until December 9th, 1948. Let's just rewind here. I just want you guys to hear how fucking right I am and how fucking right Poly People is on this. Listen to this real quick. Let's just listen to this back. Listen up.
Didn't start until
Take a listen to it. Let's run it back, Jamie.
Seems literally impossible to me.
According to what, like legal definitions or?
According to what legal definitions? Guess what, bitch? The legal definition you're using, the
That's right,
Holocaust
bitch.
at the time could not be considered a genocide because the UN fucking assembly on genocide did not happen until December 9th, 1948.
Wait, what? Wait, how is this a dig?
What are you talking about?
Wait,
Okay.
What? Is this really your own? No way, bro.
The word genocide was coined to describe the Holocaust.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, like of course it's not going to
call something a genocide.
Did Demon Mama think that Lonerbox believed there was no genocide prior to the UN? There was no such thing as a genocide that happened prior to the UN. When the UN was created, that's when it made their announcement about genocide. That's when, from that point forward, genocide existed. Like, come on, what are we doing? Come on. It's funny. It's a funny thing to think about, though. That's just weird.
You couldn't convict people that's like, okay, yeah, the Nazis were convicted of crimes against humanity, not genocide, because it wasn't there until 48. But we're talking about describing it. She asked me when the genocide of the Jews started. And I said 48, like, yeah. And I said 41 because we're talking retroactively. You know, like, murders happened before murder was a crime.
No, you're wrong. No, you're wrong.
I don't know if this is just like people make mistakes. People make mistakes. After taking a minute.
Wait, I have no cabinets?
One step further.
You want to go one further? You want to go one further? You ready to go one step further? Genocide is the intentional destruction of a people, usually classed as ethnic, national, racial, or religious, in whole or in part. Raphael Lemkin coined the term in 1944. The term genocide did not even exist at the time that he's talking about. So all of this stupid semantic nonsense is a bunch of fucking hot air.
Wow, you're so smart.
So it wouldn't fucking matter if you called it a genocide or not. The terms, the legal terms, didn't exist at the time. Lonerbox's argument is so upside down in this conversation. It's so ass backwards. You want to...
You know what's really fucking sad about that bit? is that she has the screen up. Not only on the Wikipedia, not only does it mention genocides that happened and are recognized in the 18th and 19th century and under the Ottomans. See what it says there? I don't know if you can see that. You might have to zoom in. For World War I. You see the year there? World War I started in 1939. They're not talking about when the war started. They're talking about...
Wait, 1939? Oh, he said World War I, and I was like, wait, what? That was World War II, but they literally misspoke.
Because the Wikipedia for genocide. Like, what the fuck is happening inside this head? Like, what kind of activity is taking place in this abandoned fucking air raid shelter of a skull? Oh, did I say the wrong number for World War II? Sorry, 1939. War started in 1939. Did I say 13? Sorry.
He misspoke again. He got it reversed. Did I say the wrong year for World War II? And did I say 1913? I meant 1939. He didn't even say that. The problem is he said it was World War I, not World War II. Misspoke again. Oh. He forgot.
Yeah, this one is especially weak because she's citing Lemkin's definition, which was, in large part, inspired by the Armenian genocide, which happened in 1915 to 16. Yeah. It's just an article about the Armenian genocide. All right. A couple of days later, she makes the same point in a talk with President Sunday. She's had a minute to sleep on this argument as well. Like, she's processed it.
That is because, out of curiosity, I'm not trying to get a gotcha on you, but maybe a meta gotcha on Lonerbox here, but do you know when the term genocide was coined?
Oh, I did, actually. I did, and I looked it up on stream. I've completely lost it.
1944.
Thank you.
So the word did not even exist to name the phenomena that was
exactly
that already happened 4 years, by Lonerbox's own timeline. He says that the genocide began in 1941. That is because...
All right. She caps off her stream by saying I was completely unprepared and that I downplayed the Holocaust. Yeah, you're gonna go and tell your chat now that I downplayed the fucking Holocaust, or that I...
You did, you stupid idiot! You fucking moron! You did! It's not her fault that you were an idiot! It's not her fault that you fucking sucked so much dick at your job that you came on here and fucking blew it. It's not her fault that you came on here completely and utterly unprepared and accidentally did a little bit of a whoopsie-doopsie Holocaust downplaying. Are you serious, man? It's not fucking her fault, it's yours. You fucked up. You got everything wrong. You did a oopsie-doopsie.
Oopsie-doopsie!
I just think it's nice to watch the confidence, like, after we've gone through everything. I don't know, the fuck me. This whole video is like, I don't know, watching her like navigate these points, and a lot of them you can tell she's just kind of noticed them for the first time and everything. Like,
yeah, like just fresh,
over a minefield. Just okay.
Freshly Googled.
Let's go back to the presentation. Given that Demon Mama has admitted that her understanding of genocide is completely interchangeable with systemic discrimination, any date I gave after 1933 was already bound to be wrong. It would make me wonder, when did she think the genocide of the Jews began? Would it be 1933? Why not earlier? Would she really say you need to wait for concentration camps and a totalitarian regime to call it a genocide? After all, Jews were routinely dehumanized and blamed for Germany's loss in World War I. The German Supreme Court was stacked with anti-Semites, and anti-Jewish attacks were not unusual in the Weimar Republic. In the 1800s, Jewish emancipation in Germany was met with an immediate backlash from anti-Semitic parties, and before then, the Jews were de facto second-class citizens. By Demon Mama's understanding, the genocide of the Jews could have been ongoing from as soon as they started arriving in Europe on Roman slave ships. But of course, when we're engaging with Demon Mama, the common thread is always absurdity. This is because she suffers from what we in the industry might describe as the dunk brain. When Demon Mama engages with other creators, she isn't listening to the substance of what they're saying, nor does she have any interest in understanding or fairly characterizing their opinions. The only thing she's listening for is an opportunity to shoehorn people into the worst possible positions. The more cheap dunks and the more accusations of dog whistling, Nazism, genocide denial, Holocaust revisionism, or whatever else, the better. Is she doing this maliciously? Who knows? Personally, I think she does this because her first goal, above everything else, is not to inform her audience, but to entertain them. Honesty, nuance, and charitability are all an inconvenience to her. The result is an incoherent, highly performative clown show riddled with inconsistencies and flat-out false statements. Sorry, my voice went there. Ooh.
Damn.
Honorable mention. Smugbug. Smugbug is a small streamer, averaging around 40 to 50 viewers, who came out of my community after having veganism debates with members of my audience.
Veganism.
After getting into a Twitter exchange with Demon Mama, incidentally in a cursed thread on the topic of transgenocide, she had no hesitation in calling him a Nazi. But why? What was her evidence for this?
With the word genocide.
Oh, wait, Smugbug is the Nazi hat guy? Oh, okay, Smugbug is literally a Nazi.
Literally
okay,
a Nazi.
That makes sense. Smugbug is the Nazi hat guy. I did not realize that. Oh yeah, he's on Team Genocide, that's right.
Team genociders in chat?
He calls us Team Genocide.
To his credit, even President Sunday, he's not a Nazi, he's an idiot.
Wait, no, President Sunday, he literally, his avatar literally has it. Okay, sorry, I gotta prove this, hold on. What's that guy's actually name? Hold on. Hold on, I'll get it. Hold on a second.
I think they're offloading their goods, are they not?
I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Oh, here he is. Okay, here we go. So, here's the guy right here. See? This is a Nazi. This is the Nazi commandant hat. He covered up the SS symbol with the vegan police, but just so you know, this is the Nazis' hat. It's not just a military hat. Watch.
Who cares?
Watch this. Ready?
Wait, who cares? Wait,
Okay,
who actually gives a
ready?
fuck?
Props, eh? He picked, you can see him there. He picked one and it had the colors. I know what you mean, but it's a vegan thing. He's mocking vegans. Hey, hats off someday. Pun intended.
It's literally the Nazi one. Every other faction in the world stopped using these colors because the Nazis did it, and nobody wants to be associated with the Nazis. Nobody
Don't care.
else uses the black and silver. I'm not kidding you.
Wait, I don't, like, a lot of people find this aesthetic to be, like, I find it cringe when people bring this shit up because everybody does it. Like, everybody fucking loves the Nazi aesthetic. Everybody's like, yo, dude, this shit looks so cool, my nigga. Look, it's great, dude. And it's just fucking annoying. Everybody in a World War II game plays fucking Germany, and they're like, look, I'm so cool. Like, I get cringed out about that, but even with your combined trades goods such as they are, I cannot fathom you ending up with the items you desire. Nigga, you're getting a profit. Who are you talking to? I'm actually getting swindled. I'm getting fucking fleeced right now. You want 16 profit? You want like a fucking... What is this Hold up. Hold up. I am actually getting fleeced. Ooh, I can get a turtle. I can get fish. Plants. Hold up.
I don't buy that he's just stupid. This particular person. I think he's a Nazi. Sorry.
Sorry. All right.
Sorry.
I don't know if, like, I feel like if you have to explain it, the joke is that people call vegans food Nazis. Like, militant vegan.
Don't care.
Even President Sunday, who has interacted with Smugbug in the past, tried to correct her in chat, but of course, the truth was far less entertaining, and she carried on with the routine anyway. She went one step further and accused Smugbug of trying to hide the fact that it's a Nazi hat by claiming it was from the USSR instead.
Thing about it
Is it factually the Nazi one? Yes, it is. Go ahead and look at it.
there's kind of like 3 different definitions of it. There's the colloquial definition.
He tried to say, but Soviet. Look, I'll just show you this. It's super, super simple. Watch. I'll show you. Look. He tried to say it's the Soviet one, but the Soviets used this one. Theirs was green with gold. Nobody uses black and silver because the Nazis used black and silver. I'm not kidding. I'm not like, this is a dog whistle. It's just a 101 dog whistle.
101.
Is it
Even Sunday, where is he? Wait, what? Oh yeah, not the start. All right, I'm not wasting energy defending
It's
Smugbug.
game over.
He held his own for a little bit, but alas, servant of the truth no longer. All right. If Smugbug had tried to say it was a Soviet hat, it's not, it's a Nazi hat. That would be pretty dark. That would be a little bit sussy.
What the fuck? He didn't trade me? Yo, he's not open to trading at all anymore? Yo, get the fuck out of here, you goddamn piece of shit. Literally, out of a total net of trade goods of 126 gold, I give them a 16 gold profit. That is a hefty profit. A hefty profit. What is that? Almost fucking a fifth? It's almost a 20% profit. And they've tried and fucking fleece me? Dude, I'm about to make so much steel and shit. Dude, I have legendary weaponsmiths and stuff. Dude, they're gonna be begging to have my business. Whatever, get the fuck out of here. Goddamn degenerate.
The original thread on Twitter, nowhere does Smugbug make such a claim. This is a screenshot of the thread. The thread's still up as well. They're talking here. Demon Mama chimes in here. Vivian.
Gross.
Appreciate you're really charitable and willing to hear us out rather than dismissing everyone on our side of the discussion as just Nazis or something. Thanks for always looking for the good in us. Your Avi is, I'm very sure, ironically, sporting a literal Nazi commandant hat with one symbol change. I wonder why people might mistake you for a Nazi. It is not a Nazi hat, it is a vegan hat. I am very proud of my beliefs and like to display them prominently. Yeah, totes, bro. What part of this didn't seem real, Demon Mama? So, the Soviet hat was actually brought up by someone else. There's Sunsol saying it. That's not Smugbug. They're different people. The thread is still up. You can find it there. Put it in chat. What she saw was someone else posting a Soviet hat, which she then attributed to Smugbug to make it look as if he was trying to hide something. As a very wise Twitter user once said, they don't care about the truth. The more ridiculous the claim, the better. It's from Demon Mama. I don't know if there's a word for this level of projection. I feel like it needs its new term, you know?
No!
As one final footnote example of one's brain on dunk, Detective Demon Mama, upon listening to a clip of me talking about President Sunday, completely mishears me referring to a group of Destiny associates and act as if she's exposed me as a Destiny associate myself.
Oh, God forbid. You're not gonna be one of those, are you?
Listen to the beginning of this little clip again here. Take a close listen to what he says here. Tell me when you hear it.
Fucking President Cum Day with his like endless meltdown over every fucking like Destiny associate and then like stalking the guy and shit. And, like...
Did you catch it?
Did you catch it?
I caught it.
So apparently Lonerbox sees himself as a Destiny associate.
What?
Those are his words, not mine.
What?
I never made that. Well, I said that some of his things sounded a whole lot like a certain person, but those are his words. So I just want you to like, you know, keep that in check, okay? Keep that in mind.
Yeah. What did I say? She's listening to this for the third time now, right?
Beginning of this little clip again here. Take a close listen to what he says here. Tell me when you hear it.
Fucking President Cum Day with his like endless meltdown over every fucking like Destiny associate and then like stalking the guy. And I'm referring to the fact that Sunday gets into fights with Destiny associates and melts down over them. Because this clip is me talking about how maybe it's a better idea in the future not to think about how people are to me, but how they are to other people, i.e. the Destiny associates. Like she's like, how can you be this bad a listener? Okay. By the way,
it's what it is, homie.
I don't think I've really been much of a Destiny associate. Like I've spoken to him on 2 panels. One was arguing against him, incidentally to defend Demon Mama on the Hippy Dippy champion thing. You can see my chat logs in DGG. I've probably spoken there about 4 or 5 times. I've always been much more like I came out of Vosh's community, and that's.
Bro, I have 4 more dwarves now. Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna save. I need to.
Like, I have like first of all, Detective Demon Mama. I've never hidden the fact that I've watched Destiny like on and off since I don't know like 2018 something. Since like I think it was the Jordan Peterson fan debate that I first watched. But I might as well say like if I ever do end up associating with Destiny more often, and that's like a reason for you to write me off. Then fuck you. Just leave. Cancel your Patreon and go somewhere else. Like you strange fucking cultist. Like whatever. I don't know. Like the way that the people involved here are like whenever the ghost of Dustin enters the room, like they just so strange. And it's gonna keep happening as well. Don't worry. But okay.
Wow, I want a free new adult dating site.
She says this about anyone she doesn't like. I came out of Vosh's community and she called me a DGG and Destiny Arbiter. Yeah, it's because if you want the lazy way, I get it. Because like lots of audiences are very poisoned against Destiny or whatever. So yeah, it's just
I don't like Destiny
people off without actually engaging with what they're saying.
Because my audience doesn't like Destiny.
As I was like last year when Demon Mama was soying out over my videos taking down Lord Southern. So yeah, fuck. I guess like you'll believe everything I say uncritically when it's attacking a right winger, but then as soon as like I have a contention with your like fucking trans genocide thing, then suddenly it's like we turn on the dunk brain and all like charitability goes away. Like it's weird. Ooh.
Wait, is that the real counterpoints? It's not, is it?
What do we got left? Okay.
Yeah, it's me, bud.
I'm gonna
Wait,
try.
Really? Yo, what's up, counterpoints? I saw your interview. Is it really you? Oh shit, it is. God damn. I saw your I killed the cultist at the end for XP. Oh, you watched my shit? Is that what you're talking about? The memes? Listen, it's good to have you, man. I enjoyed your conversation that you had with Mr. Girl, and I really like your 40K content. I'm not sure if I ever talked to you directly about it, but I thought it was really cool, like seeing you in this space and then seeing how into 40K you were. And because I had no idea, and then it was like, damn, this guy got a little cooler. And yeah, I thought that was really cool. Keep up the good work, my dude. You were yelling at me to get in the plane? Yeah, I was, dude. I thought you were one of those, dude. I played with some people that were pretty cringe that sit there, they don't get in the plane. They're like, want to be cool and kill some of this shit. I didn't know why. And then somebody reminded me that it might have been that. You and Chud or my bedtime stream. Hey, man, that's wholesome to hear, man. I love your shit, man. Team will just sit in, wait, and yeah. Sorry, for anybody who doesn't know, Counterpoints here is a fellow streamer. Recently watched some of his coverage in regards to the Mr. Girl investigation. He talked with Mr. Girl about it. I thought he did a good job. I've been a fan of him for a while. And yeah, I have shouted out your YouTube channel sometimes for your 40K content as well, because I think your Warhammer content is really cool, and I and I like watching you sit there get your dark tied in while you're doing your streams. That shit's pretty cool, dude. All right. Sorry, back to the content. I had to geek out for a bit.
Like,
not every day you get like people that really like 40K a lot and stuff and have respect for the franchise.
Tone of each individual person. So
it's pretty big franchise. A lot of people like it.
President Sunday. After my first debate with Polly and several response videos from various creators, one of the responses came from President Sunday. Of all the people who responded to me, Sunday was the only one I already had some recent contact with. I had checked in on him when he was fighting with a bunch of DGGers, and he seemed to appreciate my concern. It's just that Sunday spoke about his DM publicly, so he'll be okay with that. Just, I'm going to be a bit selective cropping DMs for Sunday, because Sunday hasn't lied about it.
Feel old, but now I'll be self-conscious about it.
I think he actually made a tweet about this, about
it's a thing.
How much this meant to him at the time. But even though I think he was completely in the wrong, like, still think it's worth, treating people like human beings at the end of the day. For some reason, people have been saying I ignored multiple trans YouTubers.
True, we got 400 viewers, but only 92 likes. Thank you for reminding me. I completely forgot. How do we have a 4-to-1 ratio on likes to concurrent viewers? Listen, if you like me providing YouTube content to you, and I know you do, that's why you're watching. And that's why there's considerably more of you watching me here than we're on Twitch. I know there's people that enjoyed the YouTube platform. I like the YouTube platform. One of the things I like about it that I could only provide on YouTube is no mid-roll ads, right? You only get pre-roll ads. You get one little ad, and it's skippable, to my knowledge, which is great about YouTube. That Twitch has a lot of non-skippable ads that are very intrusive. I can't control the mid-rolls, but here I can. I'm not going to play ads on this. I'm going to try and avoid playing any ads if at all possible. With that, of course, is going to result in a bit of a revenue hit. But that doesn't matter, because I think I can incentivize people to donate and subscribe to the stream, or become members, I guess, to the stream. I think that is a better system of monetization than just running ads. It's very intrusive to the stream. I don't like it. But hey, so if you want to donate, if you want to become a member or whatever, I would appreciate that. But at the very least, like the damn video. 20 squid for a 5-minute video? Do you want me to play it right now, or can I watch this shit, Dexter? Thank you for the 20. Do you want me to play the video right now? I got a $20 dono from
who reached out to
this shit to play. What is this? Oh my god, damn it, dude. I vetoed this before, man. Why would you, like, ruin the franchise with some furry shit, man? God. Bro, I vetoed this before, man. Dexter, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? Watch a loner right now. I'm Dexter. Oh, okay.
After the debate. President Sunday asserts the same here.
I'm not ending the stream until I watch that video. Thank you for the 20.
The only reason why I'm talking about any of this.
Rules are rules, yes.
Is because
rules are rules.
In an effort to sideline Demon Mama Doe and other people like that, Lonerbox came to me.
This is simply not true. Doe reached out to me before I ever spoke to Sunday. We spoke in DMs, and I offered to talk over voice chat, although it didn't seem especially enthusiastic about that. This is Doe's messages from October 25th, just a couple of 1 or 2 days after the debate. You serious with this transgenocide debate? Is this just DGG stupidity? I've been hearing this here again. Going around talking about words like Nazi or genocide don't have meanings anymore.
I swear to God, people are fighting specters and remnants of Destiny's shadow. Every moment they can, they're looking for it. It's a fable at this point. He's not. I bet you he doesn't even know half of this shit has been happening, and he's getting brought up under these circumstances.
Point I thought so much better of you, and I offered to speak to Doe about this.
President Sunday is my age. President Sunday is 25. Bro, I thought that guy was like 34.
I do appreciate you coming to me in private, though. If it's something you think could be talked through in a private voice call, I'd be more than happy to, but no pressure. I'd be willing to sit with you and rewatch that entire conversation with you, privately or not, if you really want. We can go over every single point.
That's what he said, Cap, bro.
I'm going to take this as a no. I'm autistic, but I think this kind of suggests I'm not really up for it, but okay. Demon Mama has said nothing to me. If you want to know why I didn't reach out to her, just watch any debate she's had on her channel. Ever had on her channel, sorry. I did notice eventually when I got around to viewing her entire response, she did challenge me to a debate. But again, like, I don't know why she assumed I was going to watch that whole thing like immediately. Okay. A non-binary trans person from Vosh's community reached out to me and we spoke about setting up a call on stream. The conversation ended with this message from me and they didn't respond. I'm not going to out this person but yeah, just this was the last message I sent to them. They didn't reply. So if they want to.
Dustin is the boogeyman in all of their closets. Lonerbox may be the most based internet lefty. Yeah, it's people like Lonerbox that I reference as evidence for why we shouldn't. I'm less and less comfortable every day saying lefties in making a generalization about lefties being bad. It's people like Lonerbox or whatever, because Lonerbox is a socialist, to my knowledge, but they're reasonable, calculated. I disagree with them on a number of things, but I understand there's people like them. Dario is another individual who I reference as somebody. I feel like there was some ambiguity as to whether or not Chud Logic is a socialist or not. I don't know if he is, but if he is, obviously based. You know, and I have some people that really put me in my place when I try and make a broad claim about lefties. I think it's not lefties or conservative. Politics online are just completely unhinged. Yeah, like IRL socialists and shit a lot of them are fine. They're just really great people, but
challenge that, they can go ahead. A trans video essayist
yeah,
reached out to me
Jay,
after
they
criticizing
can.
one of her videos. The conversation was short but very cordial. We exchanged some kind words and the conversation ended. Yeah, this person again, I'm not going to put you on the spot or whatever. Fine. President Sunday was not roped into this conversation. I only offered to talk to him after he made a 5-hour mega-analysis of my debate with poly people. He had also appeared in my chat at least once when I was discussing the topic, and in any case, I thought I'd get a more productive conversation out of him than I would from Demon Mama. It's actually 5 hours, it just looks like 8 on the thing. This thumbnail is very funny, hold on. I'm not joking, it's funny. Right, when Sunday and I were still figuring out a date for our talk, Polly had unexpectedly appeared in my chat.
Who is Dustin, though? What's the lore? It's Destiny. They call him Dustin for some reason. I'm assuming because he's dusty or something? I don't know. I don't know why they call him Dustin.
For a second conversation on November 1st. Because I was fairly satisfied with this talk, I started to feel like the drama was winding down. I agreed to talk with Sunday on November 7th, but I was admittedly looking forward to moving on to something else. Doe had stopped responding to me on October 30th, but it already felt like the conversation wasn't going anywhere. I'll bring this up later. Right? Just to give you the date, though. This was when Doe stopped responding to me. We were both exchanging. Oh! This was the last.
What the fuck? Yo, my eyes! What the fuck is that?
This was when Doe stopped responding to me. We were both exchanging big long messages like this, but yeah, this was the last before, for at least like a week or two. All right. 3 days before the talk, I indicated that I was leaning towards
counterpoints.
That I would still talk if he wanted to, but wasn't especially fussed about it.
Was that a text? It was a DM, I think.
To be honest, I'm leaning towards putting the whole thing to bed now. If you really want to talk, we can do Sunday or Monday, but yeah, I'm not especially fussed about it now. This is November 4th. 3 days before the... Yeah. On November 5th, I noticed that Sunday had scheduled his stream on YouTube with the title, Is There a Trans Genocide? This was the thumbnail at the time. Yeah.
I remember
asked if we
that
could change the topic to focus a little closer on the key disagreement. He declined. I think we should change the title, though. What is a genocide? It seems we're at, since that's where the disagreement comes from. It's actually not. You'll see when we chat and I lay out my case. A little bit ambiguous, but okay. At some point, whether or not it was before or after this, I can't say. Rephrase that.
Not gonna lie, I write messages. Not gonna lie, I write messages like that. That's why bitches don't get back to you, bro. That's why you ain't got no bitches. Bro, that is a negative riz, bro. You ever hit some chick's line looking like that, you ain't getting no play, bro. Jesus Christ.
Say, President Sunday had 5 people doing research for him behind the scenes. This is something he never told me about until he slightly alluded to it on the evening before our talk. The only indication I get of this is here.
Yeah, exactly. Counterpoints, exactly. I'm happy for you, or I'm sorry that happened. That's all you respond. And then you just leave them.
Centering like it was. Fuck you, chat. Go away. 3 issues I'm going to bring up in sequence. Here, this was the one indication. We're beginning a day-long research and prep stream to make sure we do it well. Have a lot of people working to make sure I'm as informed and measured as possible, so this should be interesting. Now, I thought he was referring to he's going to do his research stream and people are going to help him while he's doing research. That's all That's all I got from that. Okay.
Yeah.
Until that point, all I knew was that he had one research stream planned the day before, on November 6th, starting at 9 p.m. my time. The day before our conversation, I was watching his review of my debate with Polypeople, and I came across this clip, which I found a little puzzling.
Because he's not taking account of the actual consequences of his decisions in this conversation. See, if he chooses simply to not engage in this argument and just goes, okay, guys, look, I don't agree with the language of genocide here, and I don't agree with the language of genocide here either, by the way. I think the term is hopelessly fraught, and I think it tends
hopelessly fraud.
It was weird hearing that after he put up a debate topic of is there a transgenocide, but
only obscuring of what's actually at stake. I think the term itself is too much evocations of the conditions that brought about its initial use. I think we need a more general and more specific term that encompasses things like general systemic group annihilation attempts, right? But given that this is the situation we arrive with, this is the situation we were born into as it is, and given that this term is already in use, the use of this term and its situation in our social imaginary, and
Mornaka, you're right, we do use democide for that, yeah, you're right.
How we talk about these things, that now becomes itself like a political entity with real weight. And if something has been identified as a genocide by one party, and another party successfully counters that, no, this is not actually a genocide, the response from outside by the wider world is to downplay its significance and to turn away to things that are more serious, with the result that this thing is now better allowed to press forward and to advance to a worse state.
Wait, what? Is this argument that the position that it's not a genocide downplays how serious it is? Only in the capacity that it was overstated to the point of someone claiming it was a genocide? Yeah. What? Isn't this putting the cart before the horse? Like, we want to call it a genocide, and then when you get proper pushback that says, yeah, this ain't a genocide, and then you're upset that people are downplaying the severity below where you had established it unrightfully at genocide, that's your problem. You overestimated the problem by calling it a genocide. You can't be upset when, one, people don't trust your judgment anymore, and two, people respond to it with lower severity than what it once was when it was argued to be a genocide. That's weird. Maybe I'm misunderstanding. His vocabulary is beyond my years, so, but apparently he's not.
There's something about the way he's talking about political weight here, even though the genocide argument is like, I've never seen that much evidence of it outside of Twitter or like this very tight left-wing space. I don't know if I completely disagree with what he's saying there. That's kind of why I was leaning more towards just like leaving this conversation alone, but. Yeah.
So I think this was a profoundly juvenile display by someone I otherwise generally respect. It's extremely disappointing. My hope is that he can, at the very least, what even is it? My hope is at the very least he can get out of his head long enough to recognize that, regardless of what he thinks about the matter, he's talking to a category of people that are actually fighting for their existence in a country not his own, in a context he doesn't fully understand, and that how you comport yourself with respect to these different actors has real consequences. And sometimes it's...
I will say, the fact that he's saying this...
What? I don't even know what this is.
I had with poly people, of all people, for reasons we'll find out later. That's kind of funny.
The best thing to do is nothing.
Ooh, dramatic sigh. I just thought from hearing that, get out of my head, I don't know, acknowledge. It felt like the only thing that people wanted from this conversation with Sunday was for me to like flip on something. Maybe not the genocide thing, but to like, I don't know, acknowledge my horrible behavior with poly, which we've already gone over, just something like that. Like, I just have no idea. It was just really...
It seems like that's what they want to me.
He still hadn't said exactly what we'd be talking about, and besides saying, you'll see when we chat. At that point, I had been flicking through some of the response videos people had made about me, and most of them just seemed like reiterations of Demon Mama's points. Nearly all of them seemed like they were just looking for an apology from me. Sorry. I had no intention of doing this, and I didn't see how an hour of me sticking to my guns with Sunday would have helped anything move forward. From my end, it felt like the whole thing was settled, especially after my second conversation with Polly. That's the other thing as well. Lots of people were talking about how the main thing, Doe said this as well, the big problem was my conduct with Polly, but I thought, what's the point in having that discussion? Because I've already spoken to Polly. If it's between me and Polly, we had a second conversation and it was chill. And as far as I know, that's the last I've heard from her. So it just seemed weird that these guys were trying to like insert themselves into that whole thing.
Yeah, he's wearing like a loose-fitting cardigan for some reason. I don't know why President Sunday dresses with zero drip. Like, I'm not saying he can't rock a cardigan, but rock a cardigan that fits you, man. Like, the dude looks like he's rocking the elderly cardigan where it's like a fucking triple XL, and he's like way too small for it. It's like, I don't know. He looks like what is it, Alfalfa or whatever from the Little Rascals. He's gonna like go like this and have it all droop up his arms.
Topics, realizing this was never going to be a productive conversation and having other real life things to attend to, I decided to cancel. I made sure to let him know before he started his research stream, as I didn't want to waste his time.
Sorrison.
So he lists the topics.
I understand it. It's going to be a difficult YouTube video to make for my editor.
First, about the definition and use of the term genocide generally, whether it's useful, fraught, limited in application, etc. Considering some problems with arguing that trans people are targets of genocidal actions, arguing the contrary. Third, hopefully much more cool-down conversation.
Counterpoints, no, I heard about it, though.
I don't know if this is a reference to the poly conversation, but...
Wait, I'm sorry, what? First, about the definition of use of genocide generally, whether it's useful, fraught, limited applications, etc. Second, considering the problems with arguing that trans people are the targets of genocidal actions, arguing the contrary. Third, and hopefully more cool-down conversation about engagement on these conversations given present circumstances. What are 3 issues you want to bring up?
And then that's when I sat on it for like 20 minutes. This is the beginning, his research stream before the 7th. Was starting at 9, so tried to make sure to just get it like bang on there before he starts doing research. Sorry, not interested anymore. Nothing personal or anything. I just have a million other things I'd rather do right now. Was this the best way to let him know? No. It was a decision I should have made earlier, and I definitely could have worded it better. If he'd asked me to elaborate, I would have. But instead of replying, he said this.
There are 3 issues I want to bring up in sequence. It shouldn't take a tremendous amount of time, and my goal in this is to help build some bridges so you can have a more positive relationship with the community on this issue, not bully you into being turned on any
He's just reading the DMs here.
problems with arguing that. And then he just replied just like 2 minutes ago. Yeah, sorry, not in.
Counterpoints. If you tried to link it in here, it doesn't work. It doesn't work for some reason to link certain links in YouTube chat.
Interested anymore. Nothing personal or anything. I just have a million other things I'd rather do right now. Unbelievable. That's actually unbelievable. Yeah, sorry, I'm not interested anymore.
I'll DM you. Go for it.
You laughed in the face of your last interlocutor on this issue.
Interlocutor.
That's actually unreal. That's actually disgraceful.
You have to give mod permissions to link? Yeah, I just don't know if Counterpoints wants to be a mod. I guess I could have modded them for a second and then
that's fine. I wasn't really depending on him having the conversation anyways. That just kind of expedites things, actually.
Oh.
It just expedites him in a really disappointing way. I had some respect for the guy. That's actually really pathetic.
I just want to say, imagine I had some respect for until that DM, till I cancel the conversation. Like, I don't know if I could fathom being so entitled that me canceling a conversation with you warrants that flip. That's just like...
Here, let me just mod you.
It expedites things, as if what? Like you were...
Counterpoints, you're added as a mod, so you can link it in here if you want.
You already felt like I was going to be fucking written off anyway? I don't know. Like, but, you know, it was almost worth doing it in that way because, you know, that's kind of... That level of like maybe slightly rude way of pulling out of the conversation, and that's all it takes to show me like who you really are, well, cool. He then went on to respond.
Would these people say that there's a genocide of homeless people since they're bussed away and countermeasures are... Yeah, they would have to agree that there's a genocide against homeless people. There's a genocide against black people. Whatever. For some reason, I'm getting a YouTube studio error trying to open up that link. Yeah, for some reason.
And the next few days tweeting about me, at one point even claiming I was ready to throw my trans viewers under the bus at the drop of a hat for the sake of my ego. He tweeted a lot of these. This is me on transgenocide, apparently. Well, that sounds kind of boring. Okay.
I DM'd you on Twitter? On Twitter? God damn, bruh. You making me open the phone? I don't keep that shit open up. I'm kidding. It literally doesn't matter. It'd take me 2 seconds.
I was ready to throw my trans... This tweet is insane. At this point, it's basically clear that Lonerbox is ready to throw his trans viewers under the bus at the drop of a hat for the sake of his ego. It's honestly just sad.
Ironic?
Everyone who worked on addressing him on this issue had respect for him until he showed how insincere he was. Bearing in mind, this is after he's seen the second conversation with Polly, where we agree to disagree, have a polite conversation. She doesn't accuse me of being cruel to her or TOS baiting or any of that.
All right, I'm going to remove you as moderator
so we go separate ways.
You don't feel the responsibility to moderate my chat.
I don't let you. or I change my mind about it, that means I'm going to throw my trans viewers under the bus. There are trans people in this chat right now, right? This guy is speaking for you right now. Like, what the fuck? Okay. However, after hearing about how much work and how many workers he had devoted to researching for this topic, I was curious to see what arguments he had come up with. Here are some of my impressions.
The martialist.
I'm not sure why, but he seems to think I ignored or misunderstood Lemkin's original definition of genocide, even though he sees me allude to it several times in the second debate with Polly. This claim comes up quite a lot. Like, I'm almost 100% sure it came from Sunday. I couldn't find the exact clip, but people who were watching his streams saying like, yeah, I misremembered or misconstrued Lemkin's definition and reasoning as to his formulation to the definition of genocide in the first and second Polly people debate shows I haven't researched the topic well. I think he said it in the research stream, but it's weird that he would accuse me of that because I allude to Lemkin's definition like several times in this debate with Polly, and he's watching me do it because, but I think the reason for it being narrow is because the word genocide was literally coined to describe a crime without a name. Specifically the Holocaust, also the Armenian genocide, which is why not so much so Holocaust and Armenian genocide, that's Lemkin. I have problems with the way it's used in law, like quite a lot of problems. Cultural genocide is just not recognized in law, which is a huge problem because the Uyghurs in China, Canadian residential schools. I think the point of, so it's like, I've referred to Lemkin's definition since like...
To be fair, it looks like he was a little bit preoccupied. He looked a little bit busy. Maybe he was like playing a video game on his phone.
The beginning of this thing, but so that'd be weird. But yeah, like I think the only reason political category isn't in that definition is
he's like doing something on his phone or something.
Affiliation, it was in Lemkin's definition. It was taken out by the UN. So funny that I wouldn't know that if I didn't know about Lemkin. Yeah. So,
well, sure. I mean,
wonder why. But
when you have a bunch of genocide doers making the rules, it's gonna.
I think the problem is that they think Lemkin is like a big own because apparently Lemkin's definition does allow for the situation in America to be a genocide, even though it kind of doesn't. But yeah, right. At one point, he tries to make the case for cultural genocide by comparing today's... Sorry, just another thing is, I don't know if the next time I debate something, I just need to like actually say, oh, by the way, Lemkin coined the term, and then here are his contributions. Like, just, I don't know. At one point, he tries to make the case for cultural genocide by comparing today's situation to the treatment of indigenous children in the United States and Canada, describing it as exact corollaries.
Yeah. Now, in terms of cultural genocide, with the case of trans people, we actually do have exact corollaries to the case of indigenous children in Canada and the United States. The forced transfer of children from one group to another. Children in some states have been removed from their parents' homes because they have been allowed to transition early on.
Now, this is something you're going to notice a lot. Once you go...
What? Wait. Hold up. Wait. So, of the cases in which trans kids have been removed from their parents' care, do we think that is a comparable rate, a comparable reason to indigenous kids being removed from their families? Are we sure those are the corollaries that we assume them to be? I'm not trying to say that the trans situation isn't bad. In many of these cases, I've seen that they're not great, but like, god damn, like, Jesus Christ, we can't be serious, right?
Go in to this topic trying to prove there's a genocide. You're probably going to read a few stories in the press and
crazy tactics. It was because they were allowed to, I believe.
Misconstrue them if your goal is to put them under the definition of genocide.
Inside of certain places, kids that were allowed to transition, I believe, were removed from their parents' houses because it was a form of child abuse to allow your kid to transition. But I could be wrong. That's what I heard in some instances. It might be the opposite in other instances as well, in very liberal areas. But I couldn't imagine that that lefties would say that's comparable to indigenous people. But see, where did that happen? I don't fucking remember, homie. I don't use that as an argument.
As far as I know, I could be wrong. I don't think any kids have been taken away from their parents because they allowed their kids to transition. What happened in Texas, the directive I mentioned already at the beginning of this, is that he issued a directive saying that if parents allowed kids to transition, they would be put under investigation for child abuse. They weren't able to make it child abuse just to let your kid transition. I think I don't know, like...
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, then I'm wrong.
I don't know if Greg Abbott was just hoping that he would investigate the parents of a trans kid and find out that the parents had been like forcing this reluctant kid to take hormones because they're like a liberal groomer or whatever. I have no idea. But as far as I know with that story, 9 families were put under investigation. I think a couple of them had meetings, like one meeting with an investigator, and then the investigations were blocked by a federal judge. As far as I know, I don't think any kids have been taken away just because their parents were allowing them to transition. But the problem again is like, and he can make mistakes like that.
Wait, let's even assume that was the case. That's not at all comparable to the indigenous situation. Can we agree with that? Because in the case, you could legitimately have a case where parents do like coerce or otherwise not properly engage with psychological professionals when their child has expressed desires of transitioning. That can happen. But in the case that most of the cases I know of indigenous kids, they were just like, yeah, we just don't like your culture, so we're gonna fucking steal your kid and like put him inside of this school and shit. Like what like Rem and shit was talking about, or Lauren Southern. It's a conversation, I think, between Lauren Southern and I forget who it was. It wasn't Lauren Southern and Rem. I don't remember. It was Lauren Southern and somebody else. I don't think the Serfs. Yes, the Serfs. I think the Serfs failed at making the point that it was a genocide, because it was a similar argument as to whether or not it's a genocide. I think the Serfs fucked that argument up bad. I think they showed that they were terrible at it. But the arguments, like even the things that Lauren Southern agreed happened, was way worse than what we're describing under these circumstances when it comes to forcible removal of and capturing of indigenous children and placing them inside of schools.
When he's talking to someone like me, because I'm a pretty left-wing person, pretty left-wing audience, challenging that optically always looks like I'm doing the downplaying thing. But like, if you took that to someone who was on the fence and tried to say that there was an equivalent of an indigenous cultural genocide happening in Texas, like, you've lost them, because that hasn't happened yet. Like, now you can say a lot about the fact that they're trying to, and it's fucking obscene that they're trying to, but there's when you notice that there are all these like institutional barriers in the way, I don't know, like, if the situation is bad enough as it is, you don't actually need to like lie about it. You don't need to do that. Throughout his research stream, President Sunday repeatedly brings up a story from Florida where the medical board voted to start drafting a rule that would ban puberty blockers, HRT, and surgeries for trans youths under 18. It's just a story about the bill. Everything about this hearing was reprehensible. Their expert testimony was riddled with bunk science and was delivered by people who had no background in trans-related research. Sabercat, is that an example of a kid who has been taken? I think I've read that article.
Tale of Twin Rabbits. Oh!
Again, I could be wrong.
Yeah! I forgot the Tale of Twin Rabbits! How could I forget? History almost my mind almost allowed me to erase the history of that titan of intellect. I forgot about that, dude. God, that was such a shitty combo. Oh my God. Lauren Southern walked through them.
Things if it were the case. Everything about this hearing was reprehensible. Their expert testimony was riddled with bunk science and was delivered from people who had no background in trans-related research. One of them was a dentist. When they began the public comment section, 8 of the first 9 speakers were detransitioners, and only 1 had received gender-affirming care as a child. Only one person, one trans person.
I didn't come here to debate this. I don't want to have to make these arguments. Like, oh my God, that was one for the history books. I remember that one now, in full detail. God, that was such a man.
To testify, and the hearing ended 45 minutes early. But for Sunday, this story also contained evidence that the people in the hearing were acting with genocidal intent. His evidence here is a paragraph which mentions protesters chanting the words, "The blood is on your hands," to which a board member responds with, "That's okay." Is this him reading the article?
At one point, an audience member yelled that trans youths would suffer if the board voted to bar care. "The blood is on your hands," quote unquote. To which Zachariah responded, "That's okay."
Oh God, man, that's cringe. Don't do that.
Is this recorded? Is there a video recording of this? That's an insane statement. That's okay? Like, not even arguing the point, just saying that's okay. Lonerbox, if you're watching this is a statement by a medical board. They're being told their policies will result in deaths, that the blood will be on their hands. The retort is not to say, no, the blood will not be on our hands. These are multifaceted. The causes of these deaths are multifaceted, and we can address these by other means than these surgeries, yada yada, or some other bullshit. No, he flat out just says, no, that's okay. There are ways to bullshit this easily for a disinterested audience. That would fly. Zachariah doesn't do this. The board member doesn't do this. He says, after cutting the public comment period short, 45 minutes left, he only allows one more person to testify. Someone in the audience says the blood is on your hands. Trans youths would suffer, and Zachariah responds with, "That's okay." Lonerbox, that's an admittance. At one point, an audience member yelled that
I think people in chat are already starting to figure out the problem here, but he refers back to this quote several times throughout the stream and even uses it in response to hearing me talk about being able to infer genocidal intent from Hitler. So here's just a few.
This is a matter of record now. Once again, Florida Medical Board votes to ban gender-affirming care. At one point, an audience member yells that trans youths would suffer if the board voted to...
We'll get back into the Pamelsine tomb. I'm hoping to launch a spiritual successor to the Hippy Dippy in January. Really? When you say will, who do you mean wheel? You just talking about yourself? But also, that's cool. Yeah, I thought it was a really good debate that you and Lauren Southern and Sir. God, I want to rewatch that debate now, dude. What a fucking train wreck. But I think there was a lot to. I think there was a lot to learn from it. My editor, me, and a few support people, volunteers. Nice. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I would need to see a video rather than Runday state it was a fact again and again. Nothingness, you and me both. I think we damn near deserve seeing hard, tangible evidence than just a statement from Runday. You still have to watch that Dono video? Oh yeah, no. I mean, I'm not gonna watch it right after this if I'm gonna rewatch it, but yeah, we're going to be watching the Dono video.
Our care. Quote, the blood is on your hands, unquote. To which Zachariah, a board member, responded, quote, that's okay, unquote.
Okay.
Whether the propaganda statements I cite, quote, the perpetuation of the race of Aborigines is not to be desired, unquote, should weigh as intent may be hard to judge. I give weight to the actions that were excused by the words. Some redefinitions of genocide, see Fine and Gigliotti, have made persistence in a destructive course equivalent to intent to destroy. And I agree with this. And the reason why I bring this up is because this case of the Florida Medical Board, when a medical board member is told the blood is on your hands, people will die from this, when he says that's okay, he has been made aware. He has been made absolutely aware of the consequences of the policies that these people are pursuing. And he's owning it.
No, I never heard of him, Raisin.
Again,
Raven. Raven.
Trying to do the genocide. It's like they keep on trying to draw corollaries like this that just have no. When he's talking about persistence in a destructive course, he's talking about the treatment of indigenous people in Australia, where the state was committing massacres and also dragging kids to state reserves to force them to learn a different language in order to give them to white families, often as laborers. But yeah,
yeah, the same is happening right now for trans kids. Come on now, be sensitive. Lonerbox, you know that.
Ranting at you is you being made aware. We'll get to that. Even when I talk about impossible to do Hitler, like if someone wanted to say that Hitler sounds like a genocidal guy, you could have said that from like 1919.
Sure.
Because he was already saying Germany will be better once every Jew is removed. And I'm like, okay.
Well, he wanted to remove all the Jews from Europe, right? I mean, he was pretty open about that.
Yeah, there's no way you're doing this without killing people in the end, right? Like you can try all your Madagascar plans or whatever the fuck they tried all the way up until 1940, but the inevitable conclusions, like we know now, like it's always the same.
Okay, you have board members in Florida, medical board members, responding to there will be blood on your hands with that's okay. It's been made abundantly clear. People will die from this. We have the statistics. We know what the medication, what the treatments that are on offer right now, where they are on offer. We know what they do. We know they save lives. Taking those out of the equation, once we already know they save lives, that is killing those people. They know this. They are fine with it. 41% jokes abound.
Did he actually? Never mind. For reference, here is the clip of what apparently constitutes genocidal intent. Did he say board members, even though it was only one? Oh, okay, doesn't matter. This is the hearing where the that's okay thing happened.
I want before you can come to the podium. You'll be the last speaker for the day, and let me finish. Don't.
What? This was filmed October 28th, 2022? Bro, we have better footage of literally 9/11. What the hell is this? What is this camera? What the fuck? Is this in a Nokia flip phone? Oh my god.
Todd, you're not going to win. Let me finish. What we're going to do, we'll give you an email for the state of Florida. You send your information, and whatever information what information you send will be a part of the record. You know what? Okay. You know what? Okay, that's fine. Okay, Miss Patty Sullivan, you may proceed. That's okay. That's okay. Let's have some decency and quorum here. Patty Sullivan, you may proceed.
So,
ooh, yeah, that did not come out the way that, man, that definitely is going to read different in a transcript than it is IRL. Or is it a tone policing moment or whatever? You know how when you're texting, you can't convey tone? I feel like that's exactly what happened there. I feel like this person was just trying to get the room calmed down. And the way that transcript was done was not Was not at all. Yeah, Clip Chimp IRL. Yeah, that was not. Oh, he said that's okay. He said that's okay. And the thing that was said before, like, come on, man.
Be clear, this guy is an enormous piece of shit. This whole
Yeah,
thing
he
is
was
completely like fucked. But if you're hearing that and you think that's him saying, I have now been made aware that my policies will kill people,
exactly.
then actually that's cool.
Correct. Yeah.
Like if you think this is your genocidal intent, I mean.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Yeah, just to be clear, the guy could be a terrible person. You know, I could take Lonerbox as his word and you know, assume that he's a terrible person or whatever. It doesn't really matter to the argument. The argument is simple. Did they say that's okay with the intent of, like, trying to do that? No, they were obviously trying to settle down the crowd. Like, it happens all the time. All right, okay, okay, okay. All right, all right, all right, all right. You know, that people will do to try and settle down a crowd. But yeah, I'm not seeing that definitive shit that we were trying to preface.
And I think that's the worst thing as well, is that you've got an event that is so unambiguously wrong in every single way. But because you're trying to prove that it's a genocide, you have to go that one step further and say that you've got like a bloodthirsty legislator acting with genocidal intent because he said that's okay that people are dying. First of all, it's not untoward for Republicans to be bad with science, right? Like Republicans were made aware plenty of times about their COVID policies that got people killed. That doesn't mean Republicans were committing genocide against themselves, even though they were made aware plenty of times that their policies were killing people.
That's a good point. That's actually a very good point. Very,
Sunday
very good point.
Is challenged by one of his chatters on the framing of this clip, and
I actually think that's a phenomenal point to bring up. Just because you're made aware doesn't mean that you've ingested it in a way that we would be, you know, totally in agreement to. You know, like even if there was a one-on-one conversation with between that individual that said that's okay and whoever said, you know, there's blood on your hands, he could say that's okay. Because they do not view it, you know, the conclusions that the person who's saying there's blood on your hands, they could say that's okay because they don't view it in the same capacity. Like Lonerbox brought up with the COVID shit, right? You can walk up to some conservatives who are very, very anti-science on the COVID restrictions and COVID policies. And they could be like, yeah, no, that's all right. Yeah, no, I'll just catch COVID. You know how some conservatives, like, whatever. Well, you know, I'll get COVID and it won't be that big of a deal. I would never say that those conservatives are trying to facilitate a genocide, because that's not the intent of what they're doing. The intent of what they think is just that it's not going to work out. You could say, like, maybe they're trying to, like, I don't know. I don't know. It's cringe. They just, you know, view it that way. You know, they don't think that's going to be the outcome. And I think that's pretty important when it comes to genocide, is whether somebody intends to genocide a group of people or whether or not somebody just, like, it might happen to be a consequence of it. Like, if we're trying to fix our agriculture industry when we critically need it, and we try and fix it, you know, in a specific way, and it turns out that it completely fucks it and, like, a bunch of people die, is that, like, a genocide? Did we just, like, come on, bro.
Responds to say that not only does he not know, but that he also doesn't care.
Genocide definitionally needs intent. I don't know if that's true, like, definition. I have no idea. By my definition, it does. But, yeah. I don't think a genocide can be happenstance.
So that the actual experts were drowned out.
I don't know what
then afterwards, in response to people calling out.
Yeah, that's okay is probably just like, that's okay, move on, like, calm down. Yeah, it's just I'm trying to move the session on, yeah. Which, again, it's not like the guy is pretty disgusting, but it's that same thing again as well. Like, if you try to present that argument to someone who isn't already on your side, you're going to look like you're fucking insane. But, yeah.
Their blood is on your hands. He says, that's fine. If he was saying that's fine to somebody else, by all means, I would love to see some record of somebody saying something. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, as far as I'm concerned, I don't care. I don't care if he didn't mean full-bloodedly. Yeah, I'm fine with having that blood in our hands. I don't even care if he was responding to that person.
Now, you would care if you were trying to prove genocidal intent, but...
Yeah, I was going to say.
Because the fact of the matter is he would have their blood on his hands. The board would have their blood on their hands. So they can speak with their actions, and they can show that they're not fine with it. Otherwise, I don't really give a shit. Oh no, are we not being cosmically charitable to the, in the case of Zachariah, quite probably criminal, but he wasn't caught for it, to this board stacked with liars and sociopaths, predating on the bigotry of the popular culture, lying about the state of medical research on this issue, to the end of killing a whole bunch of people for cheap political points? My heart bleeds purple porpoise pus.
After admitting that he hasn't seen the clip and that he doesn't care whether or not it proves the thing he's saying it does, he goes on to use this point in a debate with Sonsol anyway. The way he rephrases what he read in the article is especially telling.
Sonsol, we have the Florida Medical Board saying that they are okay. It's perfectly okay that as a result of their decisions, trans youths will die. Sonsol.
Ooh.
Is that what they said?
Ooh.
You know when people accuse each other in this space of being bad faith? This is like when every fiber of your being is bad faith. But
not only did they take the L, the whole board, they were saying the whole board said this, not one person on the board. And not even was it one person, it wasn't even one person on the board, it was somebody trying to calm a crowd down. Damn, that's some L nerd behavior.
this bit properly fucked my head. Oh god, all right. He also seems to be a little confused about how medical transition works. He seems to believe that the process of full medical transition is evidence of genocide because it renders the patient infertile. Now, I've put full medical transition in quotation marks here because it's not the most politically correct term. It implies like people who only get top surgery are like incomplete or some shit, but yeah, I'll just go with what he was saying here.
D. Imposing measures to prevent births within the group. This one's a little less known. Once again, it is a condition of many transition treatments that you were sterilized in the process. E.
So when he's saying trans treatments there, it's a condition of many trans treatments that you're sterilized in the process. Like,
wait, that's not big. What? Wouldn't it? Wait, how is this? Hold up. Maybe I'm going to be the one who's off on this. If you're infertile as a result of a transitionary process, it's not because they're trying to intentionally make you infertile. It's that as a result of acquiring the desired effect that you wish for, you have to become infertile. Is it not? I thought that was the thing, right? And that's a big difference. You know? If I want to get cosmetic surgery to, like, I don't know, make my balls bigger or some shit, right? Some whatever separate case, and it makes me infertile as a result, I would never go, I'm being genocided as a result, if that's what's needed to do the surgery. However, if, like, the surgeons don't need to make me infertile and they are choosing to do so as a result of me taking the action, then you could say it's genocidal. And they're intentionally doing it, like intentionally castrating me. But otherwise, like, what?
When I first heard that, like, yeah, bottom surgery makes you infertile. I think for trans women, HRT makes you infertile as well. Or not completely. It's got a chance of reducing fertility. I think for trans men, it's a little bit less so the case. But I think,
you know what's a little less so the case? It's a little bit less so the case that we got 2 little likes. I didn't know how to do that, so I just went for it. Okay, I tried. All right, if you want to like the video, encourage me to continue streaming on YouTube. I got a lot of you people here. I got a lot more of you than I had on Twitch. If you want to continue supporting my content, support a ad-free viewing experience, like the damn video, okay? It helps boost the algo. It helps boost the algo. Chatting inside of chat, subscribing to the channel, commenting, liking, any type of interaction with the content boosts the algo through engagement. That's what it does. And it is actually very significant. Looking at the back end, looking at how YouTube deals with how often it pushes the channel to new people, the live stream to new people through liking the video, it is pretty significant. It is pretty significant. Like the damn video, okay? Like the damn video. It helps a lot. And if you got some spare change sitting around, donating also helps a lot. Or you can become a member if you want some emotes. That helps me a lot as well. I appreciate it nonetheless. Liking the video is free, right? We can get it up to 250. Thank you to the 32 people who have liked the stream after that shout out. We can get it up to 250 though, right? Do you boost in Dota? Nah, I don't boost in Dota. That shit's cringe. Comment for the comment gods while I'm murdering heretics. Oh, you're playing the game, huh? You're participating in the craft, I see.
I think what he's referring to here.
There we go, 250. Thank you so much.
Gender recognition laws, where they say that, like in Sweden until 2012, as an example, or lots of parts of Europe actually, where you couldn't get legal gender recognition unless you got quote unquote top and bottom surgery. You had to get all the surgeries to get legal gender recognition. So I don't know if that's what he's referring to. I've tried looking at a few of the older policies as well. I think in America, it's 17 states still do that, where you need to get the top and bottom surgery to get gender recognition, which incidentally does sterilize you. I think in Sweden, it's really hard to tell, because the way that a lot of the articles on it are written, some of them for Sweden from the 70s says that it was the case that you had to get sterilized before any surgery. So like you had to get sterilized just even if you want top surgery, but then other articles just said it was a gender recognition thing. Like, and I think sometimes what happens is when you get bottom surgery, they would have a box that says you have to consent to being sterilized because the procedure of bottom surgery will sterilize you. Like, so I don't know if he's confused transition with like transition treatments with gender recognition, but incidentally, it's a mistake that he makes more than once.
It is still the case in many places that a condition of even fully transitioning medically requires a trans person, because of holdovers from the history of eugenics, to sterilize themselves so they can't reproduce their genes into the general population.
So what did he say there?
Because of a holdover?
Of even fully transitioning medically.
A condition of fully transitioning medically. How can you, is there a way you can fully transition medically, quotation mark, without being rendered infertile? Like if you're a trans woman and you get bottom surgery, they cut your balls off. Like,
yeah,
sorry
they literally,
if you're a trans man, there are multiple bottom surgery processes. I don't think one of them is like...
Does talking in live chat help? Same with comments? Yes. Any interaction with the stream helps boost the algo. So like, for instance, on my end, I have chat rate, I have average view duration, I have shit like that. So it's like how long people stay in the stream, how frequently people chat, their continued engagement with commenting and things like that. All of that boosts the algorithm, because what it tells YouTube is that there's somebody watching and they're doing things with the content, which essentially towards YouTube's algorithm says they're on the platform, they're not distracted with other things, so that way they could deliver you ads and shit like that, even though I won't run the ads anyway, right? They want to get people engaged with YouTube, so you spend more time on YouTube, so when you're done watching the stream, maybe you'll go to something else, and if you're really engaged, you're gonna watch some ads, maybe click on some ads or whatever shit. That's supposed to be the goal, but I'm just not going to run ads, so I don't give a fuck. But you know,
back to me. I don't know if that's necessary though. I don't know if phalloplasties or anything, if they render you infertile. But like this is usually like this, even in the gender recognition places. This is like informed consent.
Bullied in subbing.
I think what the European Union did was that they banned the gender recognition stuff in 2017 because they called it a human rights violation, which it is. Of course, you shouldn't need bottom surgery to get your recognition. That's insane. But calling it like eugenics and not letting them reproduce their genes, like what I want to know is, I couldn't find this anywhere, is if there's any states where they don't let you freeze your sperm and eggs beforehand, sperm or eggs.
That's another really good point. Man, Lonerbox.
But he's saying full medical transition. He does it more than once as well. Like,
third time.
This has been calculated. D, imposing measures to prevent births within the group. It is still policy in very many places that you must be sterilized as a part of your transition process.
And he said it previously in his research stream.
Trans medicine has evolved over the last few decades, has been unreflectively taking on elements of previous eugenic treatment of trans people. So until very recently, in most places, there was a requirement that you have your transition, transition procedures, I guess, done in a specific order that basically required you to sterilize yourself in order to fully transition, which is wrong, obviously.
Again, in order to fully medically transition, which implies bottom surgery to fully transition. How do you do that without making someone infertile? Like, I know in the past you can refer to things like, I think that Sweden law was, but he's also flipping between whether it's still happening now, especially in the United States, or if it was the case in the past, which again wouldn't be like, if you want to make a case for transgender in the past, it's quite easy. Like, when you were trans, like in the 30s and 40s, they just lobotomized you in a lot of parts of America. So that's pretty clear, but...
Oh, true, yeah. If you do watch the VODs, you're getting ads. I'm going to put ads on the VOD because that makes sense. Me and my editor have talked about it. Obviously, we put ads on the VOD because that makes sense. But if you're going to watch live, no, I'm not going to put ads on it. Because I think live content is distinctly different in how people engage with it and shit like that. But yeah, VODs and shit will have ads just like any normal YouTube video. I think it's fine to have ads on a YouTube video, but a live stream is uniquely something that I don't want ads on.
Like, I have no fucking idea what he's talking about here. And he had 5 people doing research for him here as well. And not to take anything away from them, maybe they did good work and all that, but like, I don't know if their information seems to have gone through like the President Sunday filter, and he's just read articles about, or read headlines.
So yeah, if I'm being generous to President Sunday, what he means here is that it's unethical for, in a lot of places, you to be able to be legally affirmed as the gender with which you identify, for you to have to get bottom surgery and sterilize yourself. I do not consider this a form of forced sterilization or anything. I don't think of that really in any capacity. Is it bad? Yes, of course. I don't think you should require bottom surgery, as Lonerbox has stated, as I think many reasonable people will state. I don't think you should have to have bottom surgery and therefore become sterilized or infertile in order to be seen as legally the gender with which you identify. I don't think that should have to be the case. But yeah, again, I don't think that's a form of eugenics. I think in order for me to believe it's a form of eugenics is for you to, I guess it could be multiple things. One, for you to socially identify as being trans, like, i.e., if people hear that you are trans, they would forcibly, like, change your genitals and then castrate you, like, forcibly do a procedure on you. Or, I guess, if you're trans, if there was a way to make it so you weren't infertile, by through bottom surgery, and they chose to make you infertile, would probably be the two ways they would be able to do it. But otherwise, it is pretty elective. I mean, you don't get any special protections as a result of doing that. It's not like you can't practice your culture or practice anything that you might normally practice because of any of those restrictions, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Wouldn't it help for those that, because of whatever reason, were sent to prison? What, to have bottom surgery? That changed? I mean, you could just make special conditions for individuals with different genitals or whatever. I mean, trans people in prisons is going to always be a difficult thing. I think probably there should be either independent areas of prisons or independent prisons in general.
It's about the legal gender recognition, and he's rearranged that in his head to make it into bottom surgery would be genocide or eugenics. Like I don't know, like he could have like fucking ContraPoints whispering things in his ear and it would still come out as like horseshit. I don't, it's, yeah.
Also, typically when we talk about eugenics, we talk about removing the existence of a group of people through genetically outbreeding them out of the genetically, like, breeding them out. You can't really do that with trans people. So, yeah, I wouldn't even, like, wouldn't even understand the process of that.
I think the way you'd word that is that there are some states where they still very inhumanely demand you to get bottom surgery in order to, like top and bottom surgery in order to get gender recognition. Like, and that's a big problem. But again, like, because we're on the genocide road, we have to like fucking exaggerate, we have to like change everything, you know? I'm gonna get a bit more water, okay? And then I'll leave it up here so I don't scroll too much. All right, guys, take another 30-second break, or 1 minute, whatever.
Damn, you really gone, bro. I'm skipping.
Having what?
Okay.
Falling out. Looks like I was right. I even said immediately after the liberal thing was more of a this is just talking about a response I made to Demon Mama on stream earlier on. Anyway, having watched everything back and some of Demon Mama's response, I have no idea how you could frame this as a scared trans person just sharing her concerns. She's a debater who has no problem going on panels with Christian fascists, and she, well done, Lonerbox, came into my chat looking to argue. The problem is that even when I agreed with her on everything regarding the policies and what to do about them, she still said I was part of the problem for not calling it a genocide. Genocide which, according to whatever homespun definition you guys are using, would apparently include every kind of systemic discrimination in human history. Strange way to use a word that was literally coined to describe the very worst of all crimes, but no. I noticed you were doing the same thing by pulling parts out of the UN definition, which I find odd because we both know that isn't how language works. A word's meaning comes from its use and practice as well as its definition, and ignoring that second half is pretty dishonest, especially with a word that is used so sparingly, not just in law, but also in history. Polly went out of that talk laughing with her chat for over an hour about how I was doing Holocaust revisionism and genocide denial. I can find you the clip if you want, but did none of you notice that I was actually trying to back up her point by saying what I did about 1941? The idea that the Nazis' original explicit intent was to remove Jews, ethnic cleansing would be a better term there, and the inevitable conclusion of that was mass killing, the thing 99% of people think when they hear genocide, is hardly controversial, and I can give you plenty of sources if you think there's a problem with it. I was trying to agree with her that intent can be inferred and intervention can be perfectly justified before genocide occurs, but she was so dunk-brained that she just couldn't see it. You can see at the end when I said intervention was justified as soon as Dachau opened in 33, and she refused to acknowledge it. I know I'm writing a lot here because I do see you as a generally honest person, but I have DM Demon Mama, agreeing with a chatter who said I was acting like a Holocaust denier, Polly refusing to ban or even time out one of her chatters.
Is this to President
and a bunch of
Sunday?
people in DMs sending me Nazi Germany 101 videos because apparently I didn't know Hitler was in fact very bad. Okay, that one is kind of funny. I don't know what to say. I just think this characterization is insanely unfair, and I feel like I've been gaslit to fuck over the last week. I have to put it to rest for a bit because of deadlines, but yeah, guess I'm just disappointed. This thing here about her chat, the banning thing. When I went into Polly's chat after the debate, she was doing the thing, was he right about the Holocaust? I said I could explain that take in like...
Gattaca is a classic movie about CRISPR babies versus natural born babies, and I think as long as you're not killing people or forcing people to do it, a small level of eugenics is fine. If I can have a Space Marine baby, I will. Bro, I tell you, sports are over as soon as that shit happens. We're gonna have goddamn literal Space Marines, like 8 foot tall dudes, fucking playing football and shit. That shit's over, bro. That shit is over. I am glad I am not born in that time when, like, all the people who are gonna be born are gonna be like genetically altered super people. Yeah, and I recognize the argument, counterpoints, and yeah, I can agree as well. White CRISPR babies will take back the NBA? No, racist! Jesus Christ, somebody take a fucking snapshot of that.
30 seconds. And someone in our chat said, I can think of something else you can do in 30 seconds, Lonerbox. I thought, like, she said, Polly insisted to me that 30 seconds was actually a premature ejaculation joke. But personally, if my community made sexually degrading jokes to someone like Polly, I'd probably say, don't do that, but it's okay. I'm not really that offended. I just thought it was like a bit wild.
Take back what's
my
rightfully
talk with
ours.
President Sunday. When the day passed, it started messaging me again, and within 15 minutes of talking, I decided to block it. A week later, Doe put out a 13-tweet post about me on Twitter.
Oh, block
This
Sunday?
thread is probably one of the most dishonest characterizations I've ever received in my life. Let's look at it. So keep some of this in mind and we'll go through problems. I came to Lonerbox privately more than once, frustrated after watching him publicly try to bait a trans woman into talking about her oppression into a TOS violation, asking which Republicans you want to kill because she felt genocidal was accurate to describe Republican policy. Pay attention to the things that are put in quotation marks here. He claimed that I and others were just trying to force him to accept the word genocidal, that we were a small group of radicals who had invented a new definition, separate from the UN definition academics use, just to claim that we're experiencing the worst possible oppression. I explained that I didn't care whether or not he had a particular line for when he thought the descriptive rhetoric of genocidal should come into play, that what bothered most people was the way he treated Polly, and the way it encourages other people to treat us. So again, the way I treated Polly, that complaint never came from Polly. It was settled. I want that to stay in. Yeah. We didn't come to any sort of resolution at that time. Later, I heard from President Sunday that Lonerbox had reached out to him for a conversation about the discourse generated about the Polly people conversation. President Sunday wanted to do it right and come well researched. This had made me hopeful, and I, along with others, were happy to dedicate time to research that was going to be used to help two political commentators I respect develop their opinions and elevate the discourse in general. I was also hopeful that President Sunday could
get to it, nigga. Damn, bro. Holy shit. Oh my God.
Lonerbox to acknowledge what had bothered people about the way he had handled things since that conversation with Polly. Again, this isn't on Sunday's list of topics.
Damn, manifesto.
President Sunday was about to start his final research stream before the scheduled conversation between him and Lonerbox. Lonerbox decided that the topic was, quote, again, quote, too boring, and he didn't want to have it anymore. President Sunday had his research stream anyways. We weren't done with the topic that we had dedicated hours to researching, one in which many of those involved in the research's rights and freedoms were at stake. He also left the door open for Lonerbox on their scheduled date. After hoping that Lonerbox would show up despite cancelling on President Sunday, I reached out back to him, frustrated again, watching other people mimic his behavior towards other trans people speaking about their oppression. While we're going through the rest of this, I want you guys to imagine in your head what reaching out back to me, frustrated again, would have looked like. Just guess what that would have looked like, right? His response was to block me, saying, with friends like these, after he claimed I wasn't listening. I respected Lonerbox, which is why I was appalled at his behavior and thought that coming to him privately would help him see that I wasn't out to harm him, that I respected him and wanted him to do better. And it's why I thought that coming with arms full of research would show that we were coming to share in learning and knowledge together. Unfortunately, that seems not to be the case, considering his behavior towards those that dedicated time to honestly exploring a topic that is very close to their lives. All we wanted was him to approach the topic honestly since he reached out for the conversation. Okay? Go through some points on that. Doe claims I publicly tried to bait a trans woman into a TOS violation, asking which Republicans you want to kill. I have no idea why this question is in quotation marks because I never asked it. If what I was doing was so clearly TOS baiting, if you were so sure of my intentions and of the fact that I would have broken my entire pattern of behavior on this platform just to get a small trans streamer banned from Twitch, why would you not at least use a direct quote? I don't know if it rejects my claim that people are trying to force the word genocide upon people, but I think at the very least it's fair to say there is some pressure. Well, you've seen the Polly conversations and Republicans have spent the last 2 days excusing and even congratulating a mass murderer because his victims were queer. If you claim to be a leftist and still think calling this a genocide is too strong a word, I have news for you. You are not a leftist, nor are you a trans ally. Yup. It's time we collectively put our foot down. The conservatives have drawn the battle lines. You're either willing to acknowledge the truth, or you're giving space for conservatives to fuel a genocide.
Damn, that's a pretty conclusive thing to say. Shit.
I find it strange that Doe claimed not to care about my opinions on the word genocide if it then agreed to do research for Sunday on that particular topic.
Listen. We could talk about how terrible it is that some of these political pundits, I feel like, are going too easy on their rhetoric condemning these, at least, you know, some of the shooters that we've seen, or some of the crimes. One of which being the shooting. I forget where it was. It was in Colorado or something. The Club Q thing or whatever. You know, we could talk about that, but fueling a genocide. Like, okay, let's not blame all conservatives for that, right? You could talk about specific political pundits. You could talk about how they went about it, but that conservatives are doing, like, come on now, right? Let's you know, we be wiser folk to not do that.
If Doe was more bothered by the way I treated Polly and was hopeful that Sunday could get me to acknowledge what had bothered people about the way I handled things, why was this not specified on Sunday's list of topics? If we were going to talk about the debate, it surely would have made sense to tell me that I could at least watch it to grab timestamps. Watch it again, sorry. In Doe's thread, it says I cancelled the conversation with Sunday because it was too boring. Again, I don't know why boring is in quotation marks because I never said this. To be clear, no one asked me to specify why I cancelled the talk. Sunday absolutely didn't, and as we're about to find out, neither did Doe. After I decided not to show up
with
today,
each other,
Doe says it reached out to me frustrated again, watching other people mimic my behavior towards other trans people speaking about their oppression. My response was to block it, saying with friends like these after I claimed it wasn't listening. At the very least, the words in quotation marks are correct here. However, the reason I chose to block Doe could use some clarification. So, Doe comes into my DMs about a week after this, we've already read this, doesn't engage with any of this, posts a tweet from Sonsol. If you actually think this is my position, you're fucking insane. You're listing off shit that hasn't happened yet or has been directly struck down in court as evidence of a genocide now. You're acting like your name is engraved at the Holocaust Museum already. Here is the direct consequence of your behavior. Same tweet again. If you're speedrunning using every rhetorical strategy to make people stop listening to trans individuals talk about actual harm being done to them, to call you dangerous to trans people is an understatement, and it's certainly not a lie. Good job promoting discarding and laughing at trans people who are worried about their oppression. You're an excellent advocate. You've done an incredible job of encouraging the people around you to disregard and disrespect trans people and paternalistically mock them and tell them they're bad for their own movement.
What?
Question mark. I had a second convo with Polly and it seemed pretty chill. I think what you did best, though, was convince people that utilizing state policies to eliminate people isn't a genocide, when politicians just do it because they're worried about kids. You just did an amazing job setting up the obvious dichotomy between the violent, crazy trans people who are using words like genocide to encourage their audience to commit violent actions and the good-natured, good-hearted conservatives who care about kids.
What?
The effect of your work is clear and the company you keep shines through you. The only reason I didn't continue the discussion before was because you were going to talk to President Sunday, and I thought he could do a better job of getting you to stop being a dumb fucking idiot than I could. But you pussied out of that too. Can you address the fact that I spoke to Polly for a second time and I said I didn't think this was the issue worth fighting over? Why do I need to carry on this conversation? I said I was done with it, and now you're blaming me for someone else's tweets. So, excellent job. You've encouraged more people to downplay and disregard the rhetoric of trans people, all while lying about the origins of the word genocide.
Is this really happening? Do we believe that just because you're trans, you have some magical ability to make good arguments about trans people? Like, so excellent job. You've encouraged more people to downplay and disregard the rhetoric of trans people. Yeah, some trans people shouldn't be listened to because they can be just as idiotic as cis people. Who would have thought? Like, sure. Not all trans people. Like, what? You think all trans people are saying there is a genocide going on against trans people right now? Wrong. L. So no, the answer is of the trans people, and even still, it wouldn't just be trans people. Like President Sunday, to my knowledge, is not trans, makes the same argument, and he stays taking L's. Like, if you want to talk about just trans people, yep, there's some trans people that should not be listened to. Their rhetoric should be disregarded. Who would have thought they're normal? Okay, hold on. I'll let him read more about this.
Lying or being just fucking wrong about the policies being advocated and passed by conservatives. Why do you think Sonsol's my company? He's fought with Polly before I even met her. This discourse has been had before I brought it up. That these two.
Yeah, but we shouldn't listen to Blair White, of course.
Okay, you're not listening. Friends like these, huh? Bye. Now, if anyone, again, I'm not the most socially aware person. If anyone thinks there was a better way I could have handled this, like respond point by point step back, acknowledge my faults, just leave the messages and let Doe fucking fire off into the void. Like, there's nothing to engage with here. Bear in mind, the trans people bit, again, this is Sonso speaking to Polly, the same individual trans person that I spoke to. So. Right. There are so many points in this exchange where I felt like any hope of a good faith engagement was fraught. I won't list them all here, but here are a few as an impression. Doe immediately opened the conversation by describing my position as DGG stupidity, despite my argument being fairly common outside of our space. So this is from the initial reaching out. I think when people say this, especially from this community, I think you're at that point, like the well is just poisoned enough to the point that there's not really much hope of going back. I find it really weird though that this, words like Nazi or genocide don't have meanings anymore, is a DGG idea, because it's not hard to find that, like, this is the BBC article on what is a genocide, and they even say there's like a guy, I think he's like a human rights expert, MSF Secretary General, voiced concern that the term genocide has fallen victim to a sort of verbal inflation, in much the same way as happened with the word fascist.
Really?
DGG confirmed. Comment, the Wikipedia article on trans genocide. Where is it? Did it move? Oh yeah. It was criticized by hate crime expert in the article here of the Canadian Jewish Congress as being insensitive to victims of recognized genocides known as the Holocaust. This article suggests that the origins of the term trans genocide, it might have been a mistranslation. It came not because of...
You had this argument with Vivian like 18 months ago? When?
Policies in the US, but because of the murder rates in Latin America. And it might have been just mistranslated, because I think the there's somewhere here when they talk about, like, I think it's like trans
True, like the stream.
Like, again, democide, or the same way feminists will use femicide to talk about high murder rates of women. But
like the stream right now. All right, put a like on the video if you like this kind of content. If you'd like me doing reviews of serious situations, drama. If you want to see me just stream more on YouTube, less ads on YouTube gives me a fair shot at discoverability. Twitch doesn't have it. There's no discoverability on Twitch. I pretty much need to suck up to large streamers if I want to, you know, be big on Twitch, and I don't want to do that. I haven't felt the desire to do that. So, yeah, fuck that. I would prefer to leave Twitch behind, but there's some people that really do like Twitch, that really enjoy Twitch and the atmosphere, and as viewers and a community, and I don't really want to close that chapter yet. So what I might end up doing though is just multi-streaming, and is just calling it that. But, yeah. I appreciate the people that are giving support to the YouTube streams, because I really do like streaming on YouTube a lot. Hey, Monkey King Ghost, thank you for the $5. And like the fucking stream. It costs you nothing. But I don't like because I already did. Sounds like you don't want to succeed. Network, you coward. Yeah, that's kind of true. I don't really like networking. It's not something I like a lot. I'd prefer to be able to kind of just do my own thing and do it that way. I really don't like networking that much. But yeah.
yeah, DGG again, Canadian Jewish Congress. There's actually a really good radio podcast where he talks about that topic in particular. I think he actually makes the argument that if you were talking about states that are guilty of trans genocide, a better example would be somewhere like Uganda or Middle Eastern countries where it's like a crime to be LGBTQ. And if you are caught being one of those things, they just kill you, just death penalty. And he makes the case that those should be called for genocide.
Yeah, I think that'd be fair to say. Yeah.
And laughing at trans people who are worried about their oppression. Given that this is in reference to an engagement I had with a single trans person, incidentally, the same trans person Sonsol was arguing with, this invocation of trans people is clearly disingenuous in a way that you'd expect this corner of the internet to be very aware of. I will actually use, I don't normally use this term because it's got like slightly toxic implications, but this whole thing about you're disagreeing with XYZ trans person, like, it's woke scolding. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And the reason I'm using that term now is, I'll reveal right at the end, okay?
Hey, Spades Diamonds.
Because, you know, right wing.
Thank you for the 5. Is that CAD? Is that what that is?
Good-natured or good-hearted. If you can't see any middle ground between good-natured and genocidal, that is most likely your problem, not mine. It accused me of lying about the origins of the word genocide, despite me frequently bringing up examples that imply Lemkin's definition in both debates. 5. It accused me of lying about the policies being advocated and passed by conservatives. As far as I can find, I think there's only one example of me getting something wrong, as I was referring back to an article from 2021. Although I even qualified this by saying it's as far as I know, unless there's something more recent. So I'll show you the guys. I think this is the thing they've accused me of lying for. I don't know.
Need you in more panels, my dude?
Discussions with people is I ask a few people whether or not, like, oh, how many states do you think have banned trans healthcare for kids or have tried to? And they'll say, oh, I don't know, like 30. And it's like 2, and one of them failed. And often I think when I have these discussions, so that's the first thing. The thing I'm referring to here, the 2 states banned treatment for kids, 1 failed. It was in 2021. This is the article from The Guardian about it. Again, these are all the states that failed, and these are the 2 that passed. So my knowledge at the time was that Tennessee passed a ban, but the ban was only on hormone treatment for prepubescent minors, which is weird because no one recommends you give hormones to people before puberty. I'm pretty sure even blockers, I might be wrong, but I think even blockers, you have to start your initial stage of puberty before you go on blockers. I think that's the case, but this law currently didn't actually affect anyone's treatment. You can still criticize it because it's like basically just like a hateful statement, and it's most likely then preparing to extend the ban next year. Arkansas got through a full ban on gender affirming care for kids for under 18s, and it was blocked by a federal judge. So that's what I'm referring to at the time. Like, I think since then, Alabama got through a full ban for under 18s as well.
You're a better interviewer than debater? What the fuck? What the fuck did you just say to me, Darion? I'm a better interviewer than debater? What the fuck, man? Fuck, bro. What the hell, man?
Arizona Arizona's the only one that can actually enforce their ban. The ban that Arizona pushed was
yeah, get in Discord, bitch.
It was surgery for under 18s. That's the one that they've enforced. Again, I disagree with all of those. I think all of the treatments should be available to under 18s. So, the other ones, Florida did one as well, but their one was, I don't think their one has gone into law yet. It was the one that was approved by the medical board, and that was after the debate though. That was November that happened. So, all right. I even qualified this by saying, as far as I know,
I don't know. I don't really like Vivian.
There's many laws that are I don't have the website up, but like there's many laws that exist right now that have been passed in many states.
Specifically about banning, about restricting healthcare for kids, right? 2 states succeeded, I think, and one of them got overturned this year. As far as I know, unless it's something more recent. Yeah. So if that's me lying, sorry. Contrast this with Demon Mama attempting to refute me by saying 2 states banned all gender affirming care, not just for minors. Specifically about banning, about restricting healthcare for kids, right? 2 states succeeded, I think, and one of them got overturned this year.
No. 2 states succeeded at passing a full ban, and both of them were overturned on the federal level. Thank goodness. 2 states succeeded at banning all, not just for minors.
I couldn't find anywhere where this was coming from. The only thing I could find was a state that had
go to Train's new site. I legitimately will.
Legislators were considering changing the age from 18 to 25, the minimum age. But the heavy lifting there is coming from the word consider. Like, legislators consider all kinds of shit. So I don't know if any state that's tried to ban trans healthcare for everyone, not just for minors. I have no idea what she's talking about there. Here, I mean, she elaborates on which states, because you can see as it goes on. Someone in her chat asks which other one was an all besides Alabama.
Because it can be debilitating when you sort of look.
Yeah, Arkansas and Alabama banned for youths and got overturned. I don't know why she thought those 2 states banned all healthcare, not just for minors. Like, we'll go over it again, like she says.
Overturned on the federal level, thank goodness. 2 states succeeded at banning all, not just for minors.
So she doesn't go on to say, I'm not sure about that, I could be wrong. Just to maybe combat some of the, I guess, the disinformation then, sure. As far as the bans go, I think, yeah, the actual like legal bans have come from Alabama, Arkansas, Tennessee, Arizona. Tennessee's one doesn't actually affect anyone's treatment yet, but they're going to try to push it further in 23. Alabama, Arkansas blocked. Arizona, they have been allowed to enforce this one, which is not very nice. There are other ones that have done, like, not bans, but they've tried to limit. So in Florida, they did take it away from Medicaid. That's not a ban, but it's still shit. Texas directive did make doctors more reluctant when before the federal block came in. Oklahoma governor tried it a very like sneaky, indirect way because he withheld COVID relief funds from a state hospital system, unless it stopped providing care to minors. So again, I don't know if that's going to be. This is quite recent, so I don't know if that's going to be challenged at a federal level. But yeah, there you go. Again, just like if you want my moral take, every single one of these policies is dog shit. They're disgusting. Like, they should not be passed. But okay. As far as I remember, I've never called any of the trans people I've interacted with on this issue crazy. But between Demon Mama smacking her fist, talking.
Alabama ban partially blocked blockers and hormones by a federal judge. Ban currently blocked. Bans hormone treatments for prepubescent youth. This is most likely a preliminary ban. Preliminary step to a full ban. Oklahoma governor withheld COVID relief. Arizona ban on surgery for minors passed in March of 2022. A Texas directive indirectly restricts care by placing penalties on doctors and nurses who don't report instances of treatment. This is blocked. Florida ban went through in early November this year. So like fucking a month ago?
About how she wants more rip and tear, and Doe saying things like this. I hardly find it fair that I should be blamed when other people describe them as violent. Doe did this tweet, which I thought was a bit Inventing a new guy who thinks that using the word
shot.
genocide to describe your oppressors, genocidal, is a call to violence, but that using the phrase implementing policies designed to make life unlivable for a particular group in the hopes of elimination or erasure isn't.
Coming soon.
Found out this dude already exists, rip. Don't worry, they're only implementing policies designed to make your life unlivable. If it was a genocide, I would support you murdering those people, but since they're only making your life unlivable, it's really important that you write your local congressman. Again, like, being so dismissive of people who actually take their free...
Wait, is this literally a Pepe post? Guy who thinks that using the word genocidal to describe your oppressor is a call to violence, but that using the phrase implementing policies designed to make your life unlivable for a particular group in the hopes of elimination or erasure isn't one. Damn, found out this dude already exists, rip. Don't worry, they're only implementing policies designed to make your life unlivable. If it was a genocide, I would support you murdering those people. But since they are only making your life unlivable, it's really important that you write your local congressperson. Isn't the implication supposed to be that it's okay to murder people? Or that, I guess that's an implication, but I guess it's not overtly stated. What the overt statement, if I'm being charitable, is that they're saying that Lonerbox is saying if it was a genocide that they would have to support murdering people, but since it's making their life unlivable, and that's a little different, but not as different as Lonerbox is making it out to be, it's really important that we can get away with doing more?
Time and do the work and establish like connections and with these like legislators to try and stop these laws from like canvassing or testifying, and just it's all shitting on all of it. So just weird. I can explain this very easily. Again, direct violence versus systemic. I can explain why violence against the genocidal actions of Germany in Eastern Europe made sense, because Jewish militia groups actually did quite a good job at destroying Nazi infrastructure, disrupting supply lines, killing perpetrators, allowing people to escape. I can say why that makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Same with the Rohingya Muslims, the rebel groups. It's the only way they can defend their communities. As for implementing policies like systemic violence, well, I can't explain how killing the legislators will help. I can't explain how physical violence stops this problem, okay? That's why I think they're different. If you want to challenge that, please just let me know, okay? I'm always, I'm not like against political violence, believe it or not. This was a DM. I don't actually know if I want to share this one. Fuck, I was gonna put out all the DMs from the very beginning of the conversation.
I don't know. True. Whoa.
Since, deleted Swear account or privated it, so that's okay. I will say though, Dove, if you see this, if you think I've misrepresented anything, you are more than welcome to leak everything. Go ahead. You can even leak the bit where I made fun of Destiny in like 2021 or some shit in your DMs, because I know that message was there as well. Go for it. 2 more pages, guys, or 2 more bits. Honorable mention.
Your hot photo here.
Gayfesh is perhaps one of the saddest, most radioactively online losers in the entire online left.
Thank
After
you.
President Sunday, self-appointed ambassador of the trans community, decided I was going to throw my trans viewers under the bus at the drop of a hat, Dylan Burns asked him if that might be a bit of a reach. Gayfesh decided that this was yet another instance of Dylan being a total piece of shit, not an ally, and someone who was not going to stand up for queer folk. This is Sunday saying I'm going to drop all my trans viewers under the bus. Dylan, don't you think this is a bit of a reach? So Dylan...
At this point, it's basically clear that Lonerbox is ready to throw his trans viewers under the bus and drop the hat for the sake of his ego. It's honestly just sad. Everyone who worked on addressing him on the issue had respect for him until he showed how insincere he was. Don't you think this is a bit of a reach?
Being a total piece of shit and not an ally is not just a several times fluke. Go back to your war tourism if you're not going to stand up for queer folk.
War tourism.
Gayfesh is online, like...
Oh yeah, I forgot there's fucking losers that say that Dylan is doing war tour. Fucking weirdo shit, dude. They're saying that, like, Dylan is bad for reporting on the war. Oh my god. Don't you love the losers that fucking talk about how they want to get shit done and they're real political activists and they're the party of real change, and they actually shit on people that are trying to do stuff that would actually make a difference? I love it.
Right.
So that way they can excuse them sitting inside of their chair all day. Dude, these fucking liberals. Hey, listen, I love sitting in my chair. It's comfortable. But I'm not going to make excuses that I'm better than somebody who is actively out there trying to report, do active action, whatever it is. I'm not, like, come on. Stop coping. It's embarrassing and pathetic.
When your litmus test for whether or not someone is
Yeah, the
adequately
indoor
supporting LGBTQ
activists.
rights rests solely on how loyal they are to your specific niche online community, it might be time to reflect on what exactly it is you want to achieve from this space.
I
This is
think
not the
it's like
behavior
a
of someone who
lazy
wants allies.
boy.
It's the behavior of someone who wants to exist in a cult.
It is. It's a
The
lazy
people on your
boy.
side are not going to agree with you on everything. This doesn't mean they care less than you do, nor does it mean they are against you. We are going to disagree sometimes, but for the most part, we are still on the same side. As someone who came out of Vosh's community and still feels quite welcome there, I have been relieved to find out that this level of purity testing has been limited to a small, albeit loud minority. I'm aware a lot of Vosh viewers in my community have disagreed with me on this issue, but for whatever reason, have decided to defend me anyway. Shout out to the VGG boys and girls and NBs for supporting me. Thank you very much. This was a thread about, do you have opinions you're not comfortable with expressing in this community? And this person wrote a whole big thing about the genocide thing. I thought this was quite a good thread, but we'll just leave it. This one, why is Gayfesh a member of this community with take? Like the take here was the tweet to Dylan, and yeah, they're not being okay. Cool.
Wait, are
I'm
they
not too worried
actually
about this-
rebelling against I almost said fash. Gayfish? Why is Gayfish a member of this community with takes like these? And this is apparently, according to Lonerbox, the Dylan Burns take. Yeah, this person is retarded, calling someone a war tourist from their basement that they probably never leave. Fuck them. Dylan was making a documentary reporting on the events of the Russian-Ukrainian war. That's not remotely the same as wartism. A Grand Canyon scale difference. Wow, they finally came to their senses, did they? Holy shit, it only took them years and fucking years and years to kick this absolute degenerate out of their fucking circles. Oh my god. About damn time. Took you long enough.
They're not being
Literally, they were overlooking Gayfesh's terrible arguments for so long because they were on their side. I'm glad to see some sense is coming back to that sector of the internet. They rebel every week against Shuanhead as well in that sub? Oh.
Okay. Cool. Though I'm not too worried about this particular community's ability. Though I'm not too worried about this particular community's immediate
Gunter,
ability to harm me,
I
they don't
see.
really have the reach for that. I do think the accusations they've made against me are a bit less trivial than they seem. The accusation that I tried to TOS bait a trans woman can quickly morph into the claim that I tried to get a small trans streamer banned from Twitch. The fact that I didn't go easy on a fellow debate streamer in an argument she agreed to have has already transposed into the claim that I cruelly mocked a scared trans woman who just wanted to talk about her oppression. That claim has already evolved into an image of me dismissing trans people as a whole. Of course, despite the masterclass in projection, I am not the one with an extensive history of attacking people's platforms and livelihoods, nor do I have a tendency to celebrate deplatforming when it does happen. If someone like Gayfesh can convince himself that I tried to take away an innocent person's platform, wouldn't he be justified in doing exactly the same to me? After all, it's no secret that they've gone after people for less. We ready, guys? Deep breaths. Epilogue. Riley Grace Rochon.
Whoa!
This story
RGR?
is wild. Riley Grace Rochon, otherwise known as RGR, is a former Twitch streamer and YouTuber who is known in this space partially for her very unsavory interactions with Doe and Demon Mama. Having stepped away from YouTube for almost a year now, Riley is currently in the final stages of her law degree and also working, unpaid, as a board member for Free State Justice, FSJ, a non-profit organization that provides legal services, legal advocacy, education and outreach for LGBTQ people and their families in the state of Maryland. In September this year, Doe, Demon Mama, and Gayfesh shared a statement from the former executive director of FSJ, accusing the board, Riley included, of corruption and the upholding of white supremacist culture.
Wait, what?
We'll go into all these tweets throughout. This is Doe who broke the story on Twitter, I think. In fairness to Doe, Doe didn't go quite as far as Demon Mama and Gayfesh here. Doe just shared the story. Maybe that's not inherently a bad thing, but okay. Demon Mama, both Doe and I have now been repeatedly vindicated of the obscene lies, and then this shares the post. Whoa. Let's go back, chat. Gayfesh. The director of the advocacy group RGR is in the board of just resigned and accused her of power grabbing and furthering white supremacist culture. Here's his letter. Okay. The person in question, Jeremy Lemaster, published a statement where he claimed to have called for the immediate resignations of every member of the board and accused them of failing in their fiduciary responsibilities, engaging in partisan lobbying, and trying to consolidate power. Upon reading Lemaster's statement the day after it was published, I was a little skeptical of his claims, especially in contrast to Demon Mama and Gayfesh, who seemed entirely uncritical. They neglected to say, for example, that two former board members had challenged Lemaster's claims and that his apparent resignation had come 4 days after being told he would be fired.
Ooh.
So this is the article where they challenge the claims. It's mostly his statement here, and then it goes into the bottom to say that the board members challenged it. So this is Charlotte and 100% false. Okay. I will give you that article, just in case. A quick Google search. Oh, shit. I also noticed that the evidence Lemaster gave of white supremacist culture was incredibly vague. And this is from his statement. These are the hallmarks of white supremacist culture: the concentration of power, power hoarding, defensiveness, right to comfort, fear of open conflict, hyper-individualism, and a false sense of urgency. I mean,
that's white supremacy?
A quick Google search of the terms he invoked led me to this website where he seems to have lifted them from. And this website just has all of them listed, like right to comfort, power hoarding, fear of conflict. This website's really weird, though. It's like something you'd expect from like Robin DiAngelo or something. It's just so odd.
Yeah.
As I understand it, this dispute hasn't been settled, and as an outsider, I can only be 100% confident in describing this as one story against another. That said, the events that transpired since Lemaster's initial statement have given me more than enough reason to doubt his claims. Here they are in chronological order. On September 20th, LGBTQ Nation published an article which mostly featured quotes from Lemaster's resignation letter. This is the article I've linked in chat. However, the article also gave counterclaims from 2 former directors, one claiming that Lemaster had single-handedly destroyed the organization on their own, and the other stating that numerous employees hired over the past 2 years have expressed concerns regarding his management. One of these former board members did say that there was problems with the board as well, but they also said Lemaster's claims were like shit. Yeah. This article came out on the same day as Doe's initial tweet, but the dissenting opinions from former board members were not acknowledged. So again, Doe's tweet is just the resignation letter from Lemaster. Wait, where's the statement? Sorry, I forgot to read the statement. Let's just read the statement, okay. This is the one that he published and Doe shared, and Demon Mom and Gayfesh did as well. Whistleblowing, public call for the resignation of the Free State Board of Directors. This morning, I requested the Free State Justice Board of Directors to submit their immediate resignations due to persistent violations of our board handbook, consistent failures in their fiduciary responsibilities, and using positions of power to engage in partisan lobbying within Free State Justice, and their repeated refusal to add new members and leadership to the board. They declined. It is with a heavy heart that I announce my resignation and make a public call for their resignation instead. He just lists all the board members here. And he puts their email. Please know that I...
Oh, so is this if we assume, and of course we shouldn't, but as Lonerbox put it, we have to essentially, at least maybe he gets into further details, but we have to build 2 different narratives and figure out which one is more likely. The statement that Lemaster, the individual who wrote this, was just days prior informed that they were going to be fired, or that it was spoken about that they were going to be fired days prior to this, 4 days. Would you do this so that way you could get it on the record that in the future, so like it doesn't come out that you were fired, but instead you broke a story about corruption inside of the company that you were working in? Is that the reason why you would do this? I mean, I feel like that would make a lot of sense. No, I wasn't fired. I exposed the corruption inside of the organization I was in. Burn it all down. No, this is really unprofessional unless you were a whistleblower. Well, that's what they're trying to present themselves as, right? I see people make those stupid "this is white supremacy" posts that makes minorities sound like these special needs children, which is unironically racist. LMAO. Yeah. Oh, and it looks like the nigga's white, too. Nah, more just vindicative scorched earth strat, is it? Okay.
Exhausted every avenue over the last 2 years to get our board fully staffed and running, and I made good faith efforts to work with the board to ensure that our clients and low-income LGBTQ Marylanders remained at our center. Instead, the board has refused to accept any new board members.
That is true.
And refused to staff and run core board activities as per our handbook.
Oh, no,
Instead, they have worked to consolidate power and amend the board handbook in secret to lower the minimum number of board members required and ensure that our policy positions prioritize relationships with legislators, not the best interests of our clients and community. I provided clear warnings and consistent concerns over these issues that were repeatedly ignored. These are the hallmarks of white supremacist culture: the concentration of power, power hoarding, defensiveness, right to comfort, fear of open conflict, hyper-individualism, false sense of urgency. I encourage our community and our supporters to meaningfully consider how racism can be incorporated into leadership, and this document provides a great template for what this looks like. So this is the statement from Lemaster, okay? This is what we went on. This is the article. Okay, we're back to where we were. This is where things get a little bit spicy. On September 21st, the board members of FSJ filed a legal complaint against Lemaster and issued a temporary restraining order against them. In the complaint, they accuse him of locking other employees out of their accounts, thereby giving himself
Damn.
exclusive access to organization's IT infrastructure, as well as employee lists, donor lists, volunteer lists, etc. Uploading a defamatory post, the one shared by Demon Mama, etc., to the FSJ website and to 43,000 recipients on the organization's mailing list. Causing financial injury to the organization and impairing their ability to work for their clients. Breach of duty by breaking signed company agreements. Breaking laws around computer abuse and misuse of trade secrets. This is going to court. They are taking him, as far as I know, right now, this is still ongoing, and they're taking him to court over this. This is
Damn.
It's pretty long. They accuse him of more crimes than you can count on one hand, and yeah, they're listed exhibits here, all that. Yeah, I will share that as well. On the 21st and 22nd, I called this out in 2 Twitter threads. One which is a retweet of Gayfesh, but no one commented. This is what I said at the time as well, so I did speak about this when it happened. Joked about the evidence of white supremacist culture. You can read the whole story here. As far as we know, this is one word against another. There's already a statement rebuking the original. I'm not saying anyone needs to like RGR, but you're not exactly hiding the fact that you really want to believe this ahead of time just because it's a quick dunk. This is Gayfesh saying, it's entirely possible he's just butt mad about his incompetence, but I've seen what a toxic board can do to an organization. Have you? And make it look like it was the director's fault before. I promise you can easily dislike someone without acting as if every fiber of their being is fundamentally rotten. People are already using this as proof against the idea that she does good IRL work. It's an accusation that's currently being challenged. Chill. Second one, after I learned about the trial, the court case. Turns out the guy who made these claims had been issued a temporary restraining order. Apparently he'd hijacked the group's accounts and changed passwords after being let go earlier this month. They've accused LeMaster of locking the staff out of their accounts and making unauthorized defamatory posts to the organization's website when no one else could access it. This will have given him access to donor information that was subject to client-attorney confidentiality. He's been accused of causing damages and losses to the organization in several ways. If this is true, it means quite a few people were willing to spread damaging and incredibly weak allegations against an LGBTQ advocacy group just because they wanted to get a dunk online. I should say, I don't think this means Doe or Demon Mama are bad people. I've only had good relations with both of them and don't plan on changing that.
Yeah.
But this just really looks really reckless and irresponsible, especially now that legal action is involved. That's what I said at the time.
Spoke too soon, my boy. Don't worry.
They didn't say anything. Right. Despite
Welcome
this
you
information
with
not
open
being publicly
arms.
available, Demon Mama and Gayfesh continued to accept LeMaster's side of the story at face value. 2 weeks after tweeting that this was 2 days, sorry, shit. 2 days after tweeting that this was an example of her and Doe being vindicated against Riley, Demon Mama dismissed the counterclaim from FSJ, arguing that LeMaster's statement was perfectly salient and well argued. When asked her thoughts about LeMaster trashing Free State's internal systems, she says, with no hint of irony, post proof or get the fuck out. So, both Doe and I have now been repeatedly vindicated of the obscene lies Riley Grace Rochon spread about us. Doe even more than I. She stood by her lies, despite the severe harassment they caused, never apologized, now this. This was 2 days, I've screenshotted this just in case. Demon Mama's deleted all her tweets as well, so they're both pretty done with Twitter, it seems. Anyway. Someone replied 2 days later, vindicated, you say, this was the statement from Free State Justice. I'll just read this. On the 16th of September, LeMaster was relieved of their duties. LeMaster's pronouns are he, they, so I don't know. That's what it says in the court document, anyway. Yeah, September 16th, so this is 4 days after LeMaster published his statement that they relieved him of his duties. We attempted to work with LeMaster directly. Instead, he opted to compromise our systems and operations. The management team and board have been focused on restoring full functionality, but we'll need a little bit more time to complete these efforts. Yeah, just all this. Thank you for your patience. Demon Mama. This is a pretty typical statement you would expect from a board of directors which has been consolidating power and wants to make any dissenters look bad. LeMaster's statement was perfectly salient and well argued. So, yes, vindicated. You have nothing to say about LeMaster trashing their internal systems which allows them to do their work. Post proof or get the fuck out. What's your proof of anything LeMaster said?
Yeah.
The only, at this time, the only correct opinion for someone like us to have about this is that there are two opposing claims and it's going to court. That's it. Like, now I personally, having learned from January 6th, tend to favor people who are willing to take their claims to court, but you never know. Maybe this LeMaster guy will convince a jury of his peers or...
I mean, yeah, it's a pretty damn good sign that you're confident in what you want to do if you're willing to go to court. Because if LeMaster truly was the innocent party and absolutely did have expose a litany of white supremacy inside of their organization, a countersuit could be on the table. They could win big shmoney, but they won't do it because I have a feeling that this is going to lean one way. But I don't know. That's what the court is there for. I have a feeling that it's just not going to work out. I thought that post was ass. That just reeked of cringe that I've seen a million times before. But that's what the court system is for. It's not here for people like me to be able to say stupid shit without any evidence. It's for people to be able to interpret in a legitimate fashion, you know, what will happen. But I do like it when people bring shit to court. I do. It's like the well, when people bring these kind of disagreements to court, it's like the chess shit and Hans Niemann suing. I haven't seen any updates about Hans Niemann's lawsuit, but as soon as Hans Niemann was like, I am suing you over this, I'm like, damn. He is not afraid of whatever chess.com has to be able to disclose in Discovery. Whatever's going to come out in Discovery, he is not afraid of it. That shows quite a bit of confidence. I'm not going to lie to you. I had a lot of confidence in Hans Niemann being innocent of cheating. I do. I have a lot of confidence in that. We'll see what happens, though.
Prove to a judge or prove in a court of law that Riley Grace is actually a white supremacist, but I don't know. Gayfesh wrote an unfathomably deranged thread arguing that Riley was actually the primary target for much of Lemaster's criticism, citing her association with Destiny as one example. After reading the resignation statement from the Free State Justice Director and becoming increasingly convinced, even though he names the entire board, it is very likely that RGR was the primary target of much of his criticism. Thread.
What?
Ignoring the actual people they're supposed to be protecting in order to cozy up to legislators is exactly the sort of thing Riley has done in the past. She burned her community to the ground in 2021 for a crumb of Destiny clout and hurt the people she was claiming to defend. How many times has Destiny appeared in this story? The only connection Destiny has to this entire story, as far as I know, is that some people think my question to Rose Wrist actually came from him.
Hans Niemann is an admitted cheater. Enough said, IMO. Wait, how is it about you're going to say that I shouldn't say anything until they actually go to court? Just because somebody's acting like they want to go to court doesn't mean they actually do. You say Hans Niemann was an admitted cheater, and so therefore he's cheated in the most recent instance? Makes no sense at all. I agree with you that we're going to find out in the court shit, but if it does go to court, which it seems like it very well might, like that shows quite a bit of faith in Hans Niemann's ability to prove that he's correct, because chess.com made a very definitive claim. They have proof he's lying. That's what chess.com said. We have proof. And Hans Niemann doesn't want us to come out with it. Some fucking Sam Bankman-Fried shit. Oh, well, I could get this done, but the lawyers, they don't want me to do it. And so that's an admission of shut up, nut up or shut up.
And that he disagrees that there's a trans genocide in the US right now. I think that's it. I think that's his only connection to this. He just keeps coming up. It's so funny. All right. This definitely sounds something like something out of her playbook. Refuse to ever acknowledge guilt and claim that you are doing things for the good of the community to use as a bludgeon for your abusive tendencies. Riley actually fell out with me over a year ago and did actually make up with me for that. So, okay. A year ago, I got pulled into the drama in a big way when a now former member of the board of FSJ went on a full-throated defense of Riley because of this tweet. Note the highlight section. RGR is literally our enemy. I don't want her doing any advocacy online or in real life. If she gains political relevance, she will literally throw us all under the bus to win normie points with the cisheads. If you were my lawyer by the end of the trial, you'd be found guilty. Whoa. Looks like I was right. Motherfucker, why do you think you were... Geez, it's okay. I wish I could have this level of confidence. It's so enviable. All right. I've seen what happens to organizations like this when the board works to consolidate their power and burn through directors. FSJ is very likely not long for this world. Like, mate, how much experience do Gayfesh and Demon Mama have with boards of directors of nonprofits? Why this? I've seen this song and dance unfold in many nonprofit organization for LGBTQ people. Like, what the? They both said this. Like you. This guy hasn't left his house since like 2008. I don't know why he's pretending to know what is typical of a nonprofit organization for LGBTQ people. It's a nonprofit. They're not like millionaire board directors and shit. Who knows how many people could have been helped if Riley hadn't been there? All right. On September 24th, this time with access to FSJ's legal complaint, the same writer from
their last debate was not our best.
This one was far less kind towards Lemaster than the first one. This is second article, same author as the first one, coming down a lot harder on Lemaster after they've had the legal document. This month, I was able to get a statement from an anonymous FSJ board member who described Lemaster's actions as a scorched earth campaign. We did it, actually, yeah. I got a statement from a board member, anonymous. Let's hear it.
The idea that Free State has a white supremacist culture is nothing more than a flat-out lie and slander. It feels like something that was it feels like a statement that was specifically designed to act as a scorched earth campaign.
Anonymous.
Jeremy left the organization. Maybe he was bitter. Maybe it was any number of reasons. Either way, it's a flat-out lie. I feel like the same people.
How much to cut this short, bro? Literally, if you want me to wrap this up, like you can 2x this for $20, or you can change what I watch. Or how much did we even pay to do this? I guess another $20. No, okay, so $10 to increase the speed, $20 to change the video, I guess. No, I'm gonna make it 40. We're almost done. We're almost done. Like, it looks like it ends in like 20 minutes.
Who jumped on this immediately once it hit the public, once it became public and he made a statement, have a similar feeling of bitterness about themselves. This time just directed at Riley. You can be critical of Riley. That's fine. People deserve to be criticized if you think they've done something wrong. But there's zero reason for you to try to drag down an LGBTQ+ organization that's helped thousands of trans, gay, bisexual, and other queer people in the state of Maryland. The idea that Free State has a white supremacist culture is nothing more than a flat-out lie and slander.
Oh, sorry, looped. Sorry. Chat, please do not speculate on the identity of my anonymous source. Why are you laughing? I was laughing because he stumbled over his words the first time he tried to play that. My anonymous source, by the way, please don't speculate. All right. What Demon Mama, Doe, and Gayfresh did here was spread completely unverified and possibly defamatory claims against the largest LGBTQ organization in Maryland, just because they saw an opportunity to dunk on someone they had a spat with online. I don't doubt this level of recklessness is justified in their minds because of some social crime Riley committed, which would make her fair game for attack. In Riley's case, it was most likely the pedo-jacketing incident. Whether this stands higher or lower than Fed posting on the hierarchy of internet crimes, I can't say, with Doe. Having looked around for the origins of this charge, the only evidence I was able to find of Riley calling Doe a pedophile was this. Sorry for that.
Oh, I remember this Discord.
Now, I didn't side with Riley during that. I don't think anyone did. DGG, incidentally, didn't. I don't know if saying someone is negligently.
I literally don't know anyone who's sided with Riley in that, but what they said was clear, justifying pedophilia. It's not that they are a pedophile, they're justifying pedophilia, which is a completely different statement. Now, if you want to say people are going to interpret them as similar, yeah, it's true. Like, normies are probably going to interpret, like if I say this person is justifying pedophilia and this person is a pedophile, they're probably going to lump them up as one and the same. That's probably going to happen. He said, nice one, dude. Wow, misspoke. Whoa, yeah, he misspoke. Fuck you. But no, there's a difference. There's a significant difference.
Or intentionally justifying pedophilia means the same as calling them a pedophile. Personally, when I say someone's making conservative arguments, I don't think that's me calling them a conservative. Apparently there are tweets. I just can't okay, well, but I haven't seen them, so I don't know. In any case, like, I watched the debate though. Like, Doe was happy to say that this quote was Riley calling Doe a pedophile. So, like, I suppose if this is your threshold for deciding it's okay to attack someone's real life work and advocacy, I do hope this is a standard that can at least be applied consistently. After all, if one pedo-jacketer is fair game, surely all of them are.
Lithium mines. You are literally advocating right now for child raping. Guys, Vegan Gains just came on my show to advocate about child rapists in favor of child rape.
That's a cool story. So you believe that it's morally acceptable to pay for humans to be murdered?
You believe it's morally acceptable to pay for child rape? Yeah, you're a freak. You come on here advocating for child rape by your own worldview. Dude, you're a child rapist. You like, what do you got? What else are you paying for? How many subscriptions to child porn sites do you have?
That's maybe a bit more.
Damn, wait, what the fuck? I don't remember this. Jesus Christ. Holy shit.
Pedo jacket than Riley's quote, or any quote from Riley that I've seen. I personally don't think invoking pedophilia and people at all is really a good idea. So that's my position. That's not the question though, right? The question is whether or not it justifies you going after their life's advocacy and their life's work, like a year later? Maybe not. By the way, with that clip, Demon Mama will say that it's actually okay for her to say it to Vegan Gains because he accused her of being okay with eating human meat if it was stocked on the shelves. There's like a back and forth. But the reason he said she was okay with eating human meat if it was on the shelves was actually because of this.
But I mean,
so if you learned, right, so if you learned all the meat you were eating right now, it wasn't chicken, it wasn't beef, wasn't whatever, it was actually human beings, and you're being lied to.
Sure.
And the only meat in existence is human beings. Would you go vegan tomorrow?
No, probably not.
I think the correct answer to that question if you don't want to be accused of being okay with eating human meat, I think you're supposed to say yes to that question. That you would go vegan if all the meat in the shops was actually humans who had been murdered for their meat. But it's a 50-50 chance, really. Could have happened to anyone. To restate what I said at the beginning, I don't expect this to change the minds of anyone involved. This is not for them. This is for myself.
I really don't understand why people compete with those arguments. The only argument that I know of that exists that can try to justify not being vegan is like the social contract one, and even still that's not good. I just totally submit to the idea that, and I have for a while, vegans are right. I just can't find affordable, nutritious vegan options at a, well, also that are good tasting, at a low price. I don't think you can. And then in before vegan, lentils! I don't care. You have one food that costs extremely little, that has decent nutrition. I'm not going to eat one thing for the rest of my life. If you saw my fridge, it has like 30 different options that I choose. I am unfortunately a very picky eater. I cannot eat the same thing more than like twice a week. It's not possible for me to do it. Okay? I'd like fucking if I do that, right? I can't do it. So, I have like fucking hot dogs, I got burgers, I got steak, I got fucking pork chops, I got ice cream, waffles, cereal, hot dogs. I think I might have already said that. Fucking yogurt, oatmeal, cream of wheat. I have bagels, bread, sandwich, lunch meats. I have such a variety of food. You can get none of that variety with like being vegan. It's like carrots, broccoli, fucking whatever. It's no, you cannot get nearly that variety while being vegan. You just can't do it unless you want to spend 9 hours making food all the time. It's just not going to happen. Especially at an affordable, low price.
My audience, who will now have something to refer to in the future, and for any neutral observers who may not have had the full story of what was going on. Going forward, I expect the people involved and their communities will have no problem rolling around in the mud without me. President Sunday and Poly people have already fallen out.
Pescatarian for the win? I don't know what that means.
On him or his audience. Yeah, President Sunday and Poly had a, I don't know what over. I haven't figured that out yet, but they had a bit of a scrap.
Would you let me finish talking?
You're talking every time I talk too.
You're gonna let me talk. You're gonna talk over me.
We're both talking over each other. This is not.
Are you gonna let me talk? Can I talk?
Of course. But we don't have a moderator. Like, we don't have like assigned blocks. We don't
Can
just
I
like,
talk?
say, it is my time.
Can I talk?
Really works.
Or are you gonna be fucking hardcore misogyny on me?
What?
Are you gonna keep doing your misogyny shit on me? Are you gonna let me
What am I
talk?
doing that's misogynistic?
You won't.
Oh, he doesn't like it when he gets it, bro. He none of that shit. You gotta sit there and take that, you little bitch. You gotta sit there and take it, you little bitch. You ain't like it when it gets dealt out to you. Ooh, what do you mean by misogyny? Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Bro, you do. Yo, no. You've been weaponizing that shit against everybody that moves, my boy. You cannot be upset. You can't be on your fucking twisted shit. As soon as it gets pushed towards you, it ain't happening. Not around here. It ain't happening, my dude. Get out of here. Fucking cringe.
Let me talk. You're bullying me, but.
This is an unmoderated conversation. You don't speak at the same time. This happens everywhere.
All right, so you can just talk however you want then. Okay, fine.
Yeah,
fine.
so can you.
All right, okay, well then, I don't know why we're talking because you can't control yourself. You can't let me finish talking. And now you just gave yourself permission to talk over me. You're a literal piece of shit, dude.
Misogynistic piece of shit, excuse you.
It's all subjective, you guys. All I see here is a scared, vulnerable trans woman being bullied.
True. Yes.
By a bad ally.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I've blocked Poly people on all platforms. I will not be engaging with her any further. Her mod team is toxic. She does not take responsibility for it. And she's now spent about 15 hours of stream time doing nothing but lying about and heckling me. Not just the projection, but also if only there was someone who this happened to before.
Yeah. Feels like the Garfield meme, huh?
But you could have taken an example.
How cathartic.
Because she did the same to me. She streamed about me for like a week after talking to me. All of these streams are about me. She's been talking about me for over 20 hours of airtime straight. This is not normal. Liked by Demon. this. This is her in her Discord, by the way, if we're going to put one more lid on the thing. On the scared trans woman just looking for empathy, whatever. For sure, I don't have too much drama right now, but hopefully someone will be dumb enough to attack me. I've got to send out the fishing line. You know what? I respect this. I respect someone who is very open about her whole thing online. I actually, yes, go off, queen. All right. At least you know who you're dealing with. I wasn't originally going to use these, but she did say some weird shit when she was streaming about me. This is like day 2 or 3 after streaming about me.
No, Lonerbox said he doesn't appreciate people calling him cis because he's figuring out his gender.
Say it.
Defense.
Say it. Say it. Say it. Say it. I know you want to say it. I can feel what you want. Say it. Say it. Say it.
First of all, the clip they're referring to, I was joking. I said like right after the whole, oh, are you calling me cis? That I don't actually care if people call me cis. Like it's fine. But yeah.
Say it.
It is, yeah. Oh. Why would you say that? Is that just okay? Fine. You're a person figuring out your gender. Who is wrong on this? He just doesn't want people calling him cis, and he may be trying to figure out his gender. I'm not gonna, say that that's wrong or anything, but it does seem strangely timed, and it doesn't even matter anyway.
Strangely timed.
Yes, I love it. Ah, yes, yes. Yo, you gonna watch the Gavin McInnes Ye interview? Oh, did that happen? That sounds like ass. That sounds terrible. I'll probably watch it another time for sure. Slayer Trick, name for the primer in 15 months. Dude, I love. Oh well, I mean, it's just very convenient when certain trans people do this shit, but like nobody could talk about other people. Say, I love it, give me that shit. I'm getting the Pete Buttigieg vibes. I'm brought back to Mike from PA's coverage. Oh yeah, dude. What was it? It was very convenient when Pete Buttigieg came out of the closet. He did it when it was politically advantageous to him. Oh my God, give me more of it. Give me more of it. I love hearing the left do this shit. Fucking yell at everybody who does that shit. But as soon as you want to do it, it's like, hey, let's bend the rules, baby. Let's bend the rules. Let's go.
Not very keen on.
Hey, listen, you ain't on my timetables for when you're coming out. Fuck you.
The self-ID thing going on there. By the way, I've spoken about myself being like, I don't know, 63% sure that I'm non-binary since like 2020 or so. Okay. She said something really weird about this afterwards.
Okay, wait. Hold on a second. Let us take a very alterable, charitable point of view here. This is maximum fucking charitability. And of course, it makes me sound like a dumbass that I would even say this, but let me just say it as a possibility. Let's say that, so Lonerbox has some neo-lib takes, but he's overall, there's way worse people out there.
True.
Maybe he is trying to figure out his gender, and maybe if one of the things that he's facing is the chilling effect of some of these policies, that if he really sort of figures it out and feels like, maybe he's trans or whatever, would be very, that much more scary to him. Maybe that would be the thing that would put him in denial as to whether there's a genocide going on. Is that way too, am I being a fucking pussy? Is that me? I feel like that's me gaslighting myself. But if that's the case, it's too charitable. Yeah. Because if that's the case, then he should be willing to say that. He should be willing to say, well, maybe I'm too wrapped up in this or whatever. That's charitable even for me. Okay. Focus on the facts and what he says in his actions. Right. Sounds like a bullshit smokescreen. Yeah. It doesn't excuse it, and it's it's too charitable just to assume that. But it would be something to say, look, if that's what's going on, just say it then. Just say you're likely wrong on this, and we should not listen to you, right? Because if that's the case, then he's gonna have to at least say I'm just I'm on copium right now, so we can all move on.
I probably could have sat down and watched all those streams. I would have dug out a lot of very interesting claims there, but I suppose I need to comment on that really. I couldn't help but feel bad for President Sunday as she accused him of doing hardcore misogyny, white fragility, and being a bad ally, whilst her community accused his chat of being riddled with transphobia, a claim which Sunday's trans viewers obviously haven't taken.
Super Saiyan Solid Snake, I know what you mean by that, but please don't say shit like that again. What are you trying to say, man? Because that looks pretty bad. What are you trying to say there?
Taken kindly to. I imagine Polly's comment after this talk must have stung, given that the main complaint about my debate with her was with the way I conducted myself. This is a comment she left under the VOD of President Sunday's debate with her. I would like to provide a minor critique if that's okay. It was literally impossible to say anything because Sunday would constantly interrupt me and talk over me. Even Lonerbox didn't do that. If I responded emotionally, it was because Sunday was lying about me and not allowing me to respond uninterrupted. Take that into account. Sunday looks terrible from an outsider's perspective. This is drama from Sunday, not an attempt to understand. Even Lonerbox didn't do that. Listen, Sunday, if you ever want to have a long, good faith conversation about your conduct, The vulnerable trans woman. I might not teach you how to be a good ally, but at least a slightly better one who knows how to shut the fuck up when other people are speaking. After this talk must have stung. What the fuck is this? I was thinking of DMing this to him just because it was like after the poly debate, but oh.
What was it?
What is this?
Just saw Lonerbox demonstrate a total lack of conversance? 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 Conversance?
Conversance.
Conversance? With my research on the issue of trans genocide, while calling my takes dog shit and implying I'm roped in with a toxic community of some kind. Oh no! All Ollie fled the debate is disingenuousness.
I was thinking of DMing this to him just because it was like after the poly debate, but oh. When communities like these are so inherently self-consuming, maybe the better option is just to stand back and watch. As a very wise anonymous Twitter user once said, it is an unequivocal good that the woke scold cliques on the left are drying out like fish in the hot sun. Shallow, bankrupt analyses woven into giant time-wasting webs of useless back and forth. Woke scolds will invent the most inane social crime you've somehow committed, then erase every category you belong to. Their communities are miserable. All they do is procedurally tear each other apart and isolate, incapable of working through anything because they've all invented a local dogma you're supposed to just intuit from being around their grand moral aura. That anonymous Twitter user, of course, is Demon.
Wait, really?
The end. I fucked your mom. Okay.
We
I'm gonna turn my
stretched,
alert box
bro.
back on.
All right, now that we're done with that, it was a good video. A good manifesto. All right, let's get this done with. I was paid $20 to watch this.
Skits.
Whoa, 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 what the fuck? I like this a lot more than I thought I would because I thought there was going to be more furry shit because of the thumbnail. You have a favorite Space Marine chapter? Not really, no. I haven't done enough research into all of them to have a good one. I actually like orcs a lot, so yeah. lot of people like the salamanders, yeah. Is this just like every race? Are they just gonna bring them all out? What the fuck?
The goblins of the internet can easily get your password and molest it. Because the companies that store it often have data breaches. And through no fault of your own, your passwords and credentials get leaked onto the dark web. Luckily, NordVPN has a dark web monitor that alerts you if your password is compromised. Whoa! I mean, really, the features are too numerous to mention. One click and you're protected online.
What a weird ad.
Watch content from other country streaming services. Change the location and download.
Alright, well that's the end of it. It's just an ad at the end of it. Yeah, that was a lot better than I thought it was going to be, because I thought it was like, the thumbnail was like a furry thing. Like, why would you make this the thumbnail? I thought this was going to be a furry video. You know what I'm saying? 140k so much. Watch this Sunday fanfic when you get a chance. Yeah, for sure. Like, look, I remember I saw this one too, with the, made by the same people with all the furry things, and I was like, no, dude, they're, yeah, alright. yeah. That's what I thought the whole video was gonna be. That's what I thought the whole video was gonna be, because of the thumbnail with like furry shit. So I was like, fuck it, it's gonna be some degeneracy. But that first video wasn't degeneracy. It was just kind of like whatever. All right, I'm gonna be done for today, because I think I've been streaming for almost, actually I think I've been streaming for like over 6 hours today. Yeah. It's been fun. I'm going to go play some Dwarf Fortress before the gym, because Dwarf Fortress is base. I am having a lot of fun with it. I love the game. I was going to restart the game anyway and start playing it up again. But now we got the modern Dwarf Fortress, and I'm so happy about it. Also going to be playing the upcoming PoE season. You know how that's going to be. I might make a PoE channel in my Discord as well, where everybody in the Discord in the community can throw up your drops, your builds, whatever it is you got going on in there. I might get that going. So yeah, Black Templars purge furries. Jeez. You gonna play Streets? Of course I'm gonna play Streets. I'm gonna take time off of stream for that. That might be the very first time in like a very long time that I take 2 days off of stream in a row, because I really want to play some fucking Tarkov so goddamn bad. Probably not going to happen, but expect at least 1 day off. That's just how it works. Big games like that, PoE is going to be the day that I take off. So this Friday, I'm not going to be streaming. I'm going to take that day off to get my League starter ready and up and going. Same thing with the Escape from Tarkov. I'm going to take that moment to get that done. So get Leagues of... Baton, they're space dwarves? The hell is that? Been waiting for Streets for so long. So am I, but I'm not expecting much. I'm expecting a lot of lag, a lot of performance issues and shit like that. But, you know, I am excited for Streets. So we'll see what happens, man. All right, you guys have a good rest of your day. Thank you so much for all the support. Got 363 of you to like the stream. Thank you so much for engaging with the stream. It means a lot to me. I know it doesn't seem like it does very much, but it actually does quite a bit. So thank you so much for the individuals that did that. I will see you guys tomorrow, probably same time, same place, maybe a little bit earlier. Again, I've been saying that for years, but if anything, the schedule is going to get pushed back earlier, not later, okay? But yeah, and any announcements like that I should be able to put up inside of Discord anyway. You guys have a good rest of your day. I'll see you guys tomorrow.